Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MotoOption Supercross! From Lillington, North Carolina, riding for TSCZ Production, number 11, Luke Sullivan. From Marmora, New Jersey, riding for Heckman Productions SYS Racing, number 4, Jeremy Smith. From Shawnigan Lake, Canada, riding for District Designs, number 24, Colby Eagland.
From Watkins Glen, New York, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, number 12, Braden Castellaneta.
From Mattawan, Michigan, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, number 78, Jacob Hubbard.
From France, riding for TSCZ Productions, number 22, Nathan Prin.
From Scottsdale, Arizona, riding for District Designs, 2022 MX Simulator National Champion, number 51, Payson Johnson.
That's the stupid truth. I slap a booty red, attach it to a bed, then I use and loose. Cruise ahead, patty bang it through the roof and do a doggy till I get charged with animal abuse. Alive and living, I've been a hard-headed victim ever since I saw death in the car. Recollection from bars, reckless drinking from hard sex with women and getting tatted like a walking, talking art exhibition. Listen, I just want the amazing life that Jay-Z has. Replace Mercedes Jags, ladies banging me to lazy jazz. But rap is tough, I have to hustle like a crazy ass. The most underrated is what you could rate me as. I'll take these jabs, you make me bleed, but you won't make me spaz. I wait and choke you like on a face to make the gas. My dad passed before he got the 41. That's when I knew no one's important or immortal, son. We're all just drums, me, I'm only in it for the fun. I came to spray the audience with champagne and water guns. And when I go, I pray to God my friends pour me some gin on my grave like my name was Jim Morrison.
From France, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, 2018 Supercross Champion, number 7, Alexis Leclerc.
Rewind it.
Check the tape.
to win the Anaheim opener in 2000. Braden Carter's going to win tonight in Anaheim. Through to win the Seattle Supercross 2022 Supercross champion.
From Costa Mesa, California, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, your two-time and defending Supercross champion, number 1, Braden Carter.
No way.
See someone like me with the gap over the me, 'cause
No way.
I must run away.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in. It's round 4 of the 2023 AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. I'm, of course, Kellen Brower, and I'm joined tonight by the man, the myth, the legend, Andrew Wood, as we are back in the booth bringing you the first Triple Crown of 2023. Man, this is going to be a fun night of racing. If you've never been with us before for a Triple Crown event, it is 3 main events in both classes, and then at the end of the evening, we will determine one overall winner. And I can't think of a more perfect time to have a first Triple Crown, A-Wood, than after some of the racing we've seen over the last few weeks. It is going to be a barn burner tonight.
Yeah, I'm super excited. The racing has been great for the first 3 rounds, and this track is really interesting tonight, so I'm really excited to see how that kind of shapes up. All sorts of crossing over the start straight, big jumps, lots of turns, actually. Only one whoop section, but really excited to see this with a little bit longer lap times than last week.
Yeah, definitely longer lap times. We'll get to the track in just a moment. But before we do that, of course, we want to bring in our qualifying sheets and take a look at what these guys have done here tonight, because qualifying is a bit of a premium for these Triple Crowns. There are only 18 riders that are going straight in. I just refreshed this, so I think this is the most up-to-date version of it at the moment. But that means that if we're looking at this P18, hey, Ethan Parks, you made it in, but everybody behind him, they're going to the last chance qualifier. Like Jeremy Smith, who's top 10 in points, has to make it out of the LCQ, and that puts these guys already on the back foot coming into tonight's racing.
Yeah, I see Chase Blakely right there behind him in 26. A lot of these guys that really are normally main event guys. And Jeremy Smith, we kind of talk about that he doesn't always have that raw speed factor. So qualifying to get into one of these Triple Crown races is really difficult. But I believe that he himself has the racecraft to get in. But it's going to be really nerve-wracking having a 4 minutes plus a lap to get yourself in the main event for the night and score some points.
Yeah, those LCQs are going to be a heck of a lot of fun. We'll check those out in just a moment. But before that, our fastest qualifier tonight is Payson Johnson. A lot of 1 flats in there. You go all the way back to 6th place to get out of the 1 flats. And that's only 4/10 between those guys. You have to go down to, let's see, P11, Pablo Vial, to find someone who is over a second slower than Johnson up front. So aside from long lap times, we got close lap times. This is going to be really interesting to see if there's even separating factors on this track for these guys tonight.
Yeah, on overview of the track, I didn't see very many difficult rhythm sections, but the track is just long, but it doesn't look super hard, and many things to separate the guys. 1 short rhythm or 1 short whoop lane, Dragon's back, but a lot of corners, and I really thought that those would separate the guys a lot more than we see right here. Really, really tight times for especially over a 1 minute lap time on Supercross track. you would normally think that the all those turns would kind of separate those guys.
No, definitely. It seems like it's a lot closer than maybe we expected tonight. Looking at those 250 standings, Jet Holyhead, the man on the cover tonight, goes fastest at a 101.7, 0.6 faster than Cade Matherly. You got Johnny Padani, Daniel Olson, Braden Tharp, and then our championship leader down in P6, Seth Shirley, who had a wild San Diego. So we're looking at Austin Schaefer right now, who looks like he just got in by the skin of his nose. 16 100ths of a second over Carter Greer did Austin Schaefer make the main events tonight. But of course, those LCQs are coming up. Before we do that, real quick glance at the standings so you guys know what we're looking at. Here is the 450 standings. Defending champion Braden Carter currently has the championship lead by 8 points over Lexus Leclerc, Payson Johnson 12 back, and Nathan Print 18 back. Kind of nice how it separates 6 points each down, or I should say 6 points after that group with Payson up front. But already starting to see some of that separation where we're down to, looking at P8 is a whole race distance down, and we're only 3 rounds in. These guys got to start making points back on Carter quick before he gets away.
Yeah, I feel like this top 4 are going to be your ones to watch as we move on throughout the season. Jacob Hubbard needs to have a big turnaround tonight to bring himself a little bit closer and close that gap. But Braden Carter, Leclerc, and Payson Johnson, I feel like have the ability to separate themselves a lot. But one of the things about the Triple Crown is you actually have a really good chance of having a really bad race and it not ruining your night. These guys can bounce back if they go 222. You could have a really bad race and not lose too much. So I don't think we're going to see as much separation this week as we will coming up next week. But these top guys really need to capitalize and try to get themselves back in the fight.
We will definitely see how they can capitalize a little bit later on. Seth Shirley, as we mentioned, is your championship leader in this 250 class by 10 points. 2 wins on the season at A1 in San Diego last week. Jet Holyhead 10 back, though. He is getting in the mix, as is Johnny Padani. Rogan McIntosh and Cade Matherly still within 1 race distance. So that is the storylines heading into tonight. There's a quick look at the track. I'm going to change up something real quick on my computer so I can see something just a little bit better than what I was looking at. But let's go ahead and jump in the server. Let's get racing here, folks, because those last chance qualifiers are coming right up. We'll get a quick look at the track. I got to set my reshade again because it keeps breaking on me for some reason. And also make sure that I haven't been booted out of the server. But there we go. Yeah, so it looks like we got the consolation race scheduled. There is the 250 West Consi lineup right there. So you got Carter Greer, who just missed out, and the rest of the 250 West riders down back to P40 in qualifying. Landon Bartol down there. So interesting list of riders, but it is crunch time right away. We always talk about how much we like these last chance qualifiers as we get another view of the track here, how much we love these last chance qualifiers. Not even like, we love these last chance qualifiers because they're always so fun and entertaining to see who makes it into the main events. And now we get to see them right from the get-go, right from the first gate drop of the night. It's pressure time to make the main event or you're going home.
Yeah, definitely getting this started off with a bang here. I kind of forgot about it, that we were going to start right into our favorite race of the night. Got a really interesting, really long start. So it's going to not only be who can survive the first turn, but the first 3 turns before you even get to a rhythm section. So start is going to be really ideal for these guys, especially in this where only the top 4 are going to survive and make it through to the main event. So whoever gets a really good start here and can kind of separate themselves and leave themselves from the carnage that's going to be following up behind them, they got to just get out front and just ride a slow, clean race. Because I don't think if you go down in the first or second turn, you're going to have much of a chance of making it through here tonight.
No, absolutely not. And speaking of that first or second turn, boy, do we have a very unique start straight this week in Anaheim. Long-ish start straight, I would say maybe like kind of a standard start straight distance into a left-hand sweeper, but it goes around a bunch of jumps across a bunch of lanes, and then you never even use that start area again. You just kind of cross back over it a bunch. But left-hand sweeper into a right-hand 90 with a little roller in between it. Do we see, Andrew, some separation because of that long 2 straightaways in a turn before we get even into a rhythm section? Or does that make it worse because everyone will be a little bit more bunched up when you finally get to that, first bull berm?
I think we might actually, it's going to be a lot more separated, but I think there's going to be a lot more carnage. I think with those 2 long straightaways, you basically go the full length of the start and then turn around and go the exact same length into a right-hand 90. I feel like we have the potential to see, maybe if the top 15 survive, getting into basically a second first turn pileup that we normally see. So 2 times the amount of carnage that we're going to see on a normal start. So we're going to see how these guys handle this. In the LCQ, they're normally a little more jumpy. So see if they kind of can relax and try to avoid the carnage, or if it's going to get a little bit crazy right off the bat, like I think we're going to see.
And another thing that's unique about this track because of that start straight is how giant some of those doubles that go over the start line are. You see the double at kind of the middle part of our screen going towards from right to left. That is a tricky section to get right because landing in that pocket between the two doubles, it's a very narrow area to land. And if you go long or you go a little short, you can't make the next double, or you might even go down. And then the finish line double after it is also massive. So a lot of like weird little intricacies about this track that these guys don't normally have to deal with. Normally we're looking at a situation where it's a pretty standard finish line, pretty standard Supercross triples, but these are going to be a lot bigger than what they're used to.
Yeah, the double across the start, that does look like such a small gap. I'm sure it's a normal rhythm lane, I guess, kind of distance, but you see a lot of guys over jumping and under jumping, regular rhythm lanes, especially coming out of that 90-degree turn. So guys are going to have to be cautious whether they go 3-2. I don't know if they can even do that. 2-3 into the corner, or maybe 2-2-1 to the inside, but it looks like a really tight gap there. I actually really like the bigger finish line. I feel like a lot of times the finish lines, especially on the 450, you have to let off to actually hit correctly. So I think you see it right there in the background. That's such a tight gap. But
I knew I did something wrong.
big finish line is definitely going to be a really exciting, I think, as you get this fix here. We see our ghost, Brandon Wolf, in the background kind of going through that whoop section. Is going to fall right here. But these two long rhythm lanes, I think, seem pretty basic.
I don't know what's happening right now, but like the server's lagging too.
Yes, and these are actually 5 minutes plus 1 lap for the 250 COMC.
Interesting.
You want to reload?
I think I need to reload because the server is lagging. I don't know if that's for me or for everybody else, but I might need to reload out of the game anyway. I'm not sure what's going on in the chat room right now, but you guys are absolutely spamming free Pilsner or something like that. So not too sure what's going on, but we'll sort out what's happening going on in the chat room there in just a moment.
We got Shaq in there helping out.
Yeah, Shaq in there helping out. Let's see, is this going to work or is this going to lag too much for me? What is happening? I don't understand why this is so laggy. I don't know if this is the server or me. So I'm just going to take the liberties at the moment to double check that this is not me. So apologies that I have to leave the server for just a moment, folks. We are in progress with 250 LCQ right now. We're going to jump back in right now and figure out what the heck is going on in this server. Just wait to do that till later. Skip, reload. Got that, and connect. So apologies, the 250 Last Chance qualifier did just get underway. I don't know why it was lagging so extensively right there. You guys might...
Yeah, we did switch servers this week, actually, so I wonder if that could be something in it. Other people are saying that the entire server is lagging, so hopefully they can get those issues fixed.
Yeah, I don't know why we switched servers this week either, but we did switch servers from the normal NA RFG server that we've always been running the races through, so never got official explanation from the race directors why we did that, but we are in a different server, which is an MXS Lobby server. Of course, MXS Lobby is a great server provider service. If you've never tried them yourself to host or run a server, definitely would check them out. But this may have just been something on my end, so we'll hopefully load back in and be good to go. While we wait, though, still just kind of looking at this track, breaking it down. We got two really long rhythm sections, which is also going to be kind of key to see, what are the main lines that those guys are doing there and what they're able to do consistently, even after the track erodes and breaks down a little bit throughout those main events. It's going to be really fast going back and forth across the start straight as many times as it is. There's a lot of straightaways, of course. Just such a unique track, and being that the times were already so close together in both the 250 and 450 divisions, it might set us up for some good racing here tonight. It looks like they also switched servers on the night of AMS too, so the AMS servers also having a bit of a late switch up right there. Not sure the situation on that either, but we are about to get loaded back in for the 250 Last Chance qualifier, and hopefully all is good once we do.
All right.
Appreciate the race host, by the way, who did wait for me to load in initially, but this was an issue I felt like needed solving right now before we just completely watched a laggy Last Chance qualifier.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to commentate the stream where you can't see anyone. They're just riding around as ghosts. But yeah, looking at this track right now, those back and forth, that's kind of I feel like a lot of the problems that people have with corner speed and kind of there's certain guys that can gain speed is when you come those wide open straights into those 90 bull turns. So many guys are just so much more effective at pivoting their bike and keeping themselves low and shooting out of those corners. So I thought there would be a lot more separation, but yeah, these two kind of rhythm sections look pretty basic unless there's some big quad lines. So we're going to have to see if any of the 450 guys can switch that up. But right now, 250 LCQ going on. Hopefully we get it working as we load in this time, and we're going to have to see.
All right, let's see. Yeah,
And
much
there we
better.
go.
Okay, sorry about all that. That was completely my bad. So let's rehash where we were here in the 250 last chance qualifier. Looks like they are already on lap 4. I should toggle time. I'm all out of sorts right now. Toggle time and / toggle FPS. All right, so we have
3.5 minutes in.
Yeah, and I believe this is a 5 minute plus 1 lap last chance qualifier. So JR Reyes right now is leading this 250 LCQ. He's got Tyler Smith right behind him, Sam Weigman in 3rd, and Jack Gatlin rounding out the 4th spot. So not sure how much of this we missed, but it does look pretty separated right now, though, as Gatlin's going to go across the inside of the track. And that's already what we're seeing with these weird doubles across the start. Like, look at how odd this is now that he's mistimed it, and it's already going to cost him a transfer spot, because here comes the 707 of Tyler McGuire down the inside to try to make the pass into 4th.
Yeah, Tyler McGuire makes that pass nice and clean in the whoop, so now he's got to separate himself here. We see these guys triple on. That's a little too big for the 250s, as we see Gatlin go right back into 4th place position, and Tyler McGuire drops back. He's actually going to lose another spot, it looks like, as we see 124. Ryan Anderson coming up is inside, so he's now chasing down our 4th place position. He's going to try this little double that gets you set up across the start, goes through some rollers here, and here's our first look at this big finish line across the start.
Huge.
It's massive. I love that.
For so long. The first time I was able to hit this earlier today, I just could not believe how far across the start straight that thing goes. But now we are setting ourselves up for quite an interesting battle. If Anderson can make this thing close again, blows the rhythm section, so Gatlin's going to get a bit of an advantage, and time has just expired in this LCQ. So Tyler Smith has taken over the lead from JR Reyes, but this little 3-rider pack up front is sitting pretty because they have a huge gap behind them. And so long as they don't go down, it looks like they're clean sailing to go to the main event tonight.
Yes, sir. You see Tyler Smith with that big quad at the end of that rhythm section, throwing it down, feeling really comfortable here. He's only got about half a lap plus 1 minute, or half a lap, 1.5 laps left.
It's about a minute for the lap
yeah,
anyway.
something like that. Tyler Smith coming right up, though. And he's just got to hold on to this now. He saw JR Reyes make that mistake, only had to go back to 2nd place. But you see your top 4 all in one shot right there. And he actually pushes his front end there.
Oh, Reyes gets into him. Through the nets he goes. We got a rider come flipping through the screen.
No.
I think that's a lapped rider, though. So Weigman takes the race lead. JR Reyes is going to get it back, but it's not looking pretty for any of these 250 guys right now. It's Boner Air Central out there right now. As Reyes goes back to lead, Weigman 2nd, Smith 3rd, and Gatlin 4th, as it's Ryan Anderson still sitting back here. These guys have a little bit more work to do if they're going to try to make it in, because it's gotten a little bit tighter, and Weigman missed the double over, so Reyes back to the lead. You have Tyler Smith still right there. Gatlin has closed right up behind them. Nobody wants these spots, it seems.
No, and Tyler Smith, as he gets some head shake into the Davalos bales, and he's going to lose the spot right there to Tyler Anderson.
That is
Ryan Anderson.
Anderson goes through, but he cases the on. No. Off the side of the track goes Tyler Smith off the double on the side. We got guys rolling the Supercross triple.
What is happening?
Someone's about to get absolutely worked in this corner, I think, right here. Here it comes down the inside. Tyler Smith. Anderson squares it back off to go to the inside. Let's see if he can make it happen. Tyler Smith bounces. Ryan Anderson's going to go for the kill. He cuts the bales, and he gets into him, and they both get together. Anderson's going to cross the line first, but you have to imagine he has penalties for cutting the corner. If not, I think Race Factory is going to have to take a look at that and maybe have him sit out at this one.
That's going to be so difficult, because we saw Tyler Smith, when he jumped off the long rhythm section before that, go off the bales and kind of cut a little bit of that track. So he might have gotten some penalties right there. So Ryan Anderson, though, cuts the bales and punts him. You can't do that. So I feel like Smith is going to be the one to get it, unless there's some big cuts. We see the number 700 in 6th place. Yep. Only about a 1.5 seconds back from both of those guys. So
can you imagine if the 700 makes it on cuts? What will Race Factory do? Because the only reason that Tyler Smith was that far back was because he got punted from someone cutting the corner to take him out. I don't know what you do right here, but J.R. Reyes did take the win. Weigman gets second. Jack Gatlin gets third. And for now, Ryan Anderson is listed as fourth, but we're waiting for those penalties to come in and see what happens, whether it boots him or boots anybody else, or we get a ruling in chat. Well, he's in based on the penalties.
Off cuts, but 700 is only 700ths away.
And the 700 leaped Tyler Smith for fifth because Tyler Smith had cuts, as you mentioned, for going off the track through that one rhythm section. So he ends up sixth in this LCQ. The 700 of Tyler McGuire ends up fifth. I have no idea what they're going to do about that. I would imagine they maybe put 23 in. I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. Our number 700 rider finished only 700ths back because he got laid on the ground by someone who cut the track. So I think, we should see the number 23 of Smith get in there. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I was not ready for this race at all.
Hey, you said on your way here you were a little bit tired, needed to wake up. So let's get kicked off with an LCQ last corner. Cut the track punt that results in the guy who got punted not making the main event. I don't know what the heck just happened, but now we got a 450 LCQ, so we're rolling it right back into another last chance qualifier, because if that wasn't crazy enough, we got more coming. Unbelievable.
Man. Well, Weigman's got to be pumped that he was away from all that. J.R. Reyes as well, after getting sent off into the Steve Mathis Memorial Net, and he saves himself. So we had, what else do we need to hit? We got Davalos fails, we got nets, we got guys flying all over the place. Someone's going to end up sending it into my Angels waterfall up there, and just Angel Stadium's getting wild already tonight. This is going to be a great night of racing. If this is what's going on in the LCQs already, man, we're 1 out of 8 races of the night. So super excited here for this 450 LCQ. We had some heavy hitters that did miss the qualifying, so we're going to have to see our own Jeremy Smith, who is up there in the top 10 in points. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, definitely going to be quite an interesting 5 minutes plus a lap in the 450 last chance qualifier. And if that 250 LCQ is any indication of what we're about to see here tonight in Anaheim, we are in for quite a treat for the rest of the evening. I still can't believe that someone cut the track and is actually at the moment in the main events. We'll see if that holds up, though. I'm really curious to see the lineup when the 250 main comes up, but I'm sure Race Factory is behind the scenes trying to come to an agreement on what they are going to do about that. I did want to turn on some of this stuff real quick just to make the stream look a little bit better. Where is that? And this, and turn it down to that, and reload, and done.
Starts lagging again.
No, now we're good. There's Alex Heckman, though. Nigrin Ohashi, as you mentioned, I think maybe, Chase Blakely's a big name in this one. Jeremy Smith, we thought, is also in this one as well. Yeah, there he is on the 4. So
yeah, Matthias as well. Yeah. JS4, Austin Bear, a couple of main event type of guys. I mean, shoot, Jeremy Smith getting top 5s already this year. It's just these guys need to be in, and sometimes they just don't have the lap times to get themselves straight in, and that's kind of the difficulty here, as we see Bear throwing down on his pink yogi designs for breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, quick question in chat from Dana Mo was asking how you explain that the LCQs are first. It is because we are racing a triple crown tonight, which means there will be 3 main events for both the 250 and 450 divisions, and then we'll have an overall winner at the end of the night. 18 riders have already qualified into those main events through qualifying. Everybody from that P19 on back, basically, has to now race a last chance qualifier to make up the 22 rider field that will race these 3 main events tonight. It's a bit confusing if you've never watched a Triple Crown before, but basically all you need to know is we're just getting everybody into the main event now that should be in those main events, and then we'll have 3 main events, and 10 minutes plus a lap for the 250 guys 3 times, and 12 minutes plus a lap 3 times for the 450 guys. Overall points tallied up Olympic style, and the lowest score wins, and then the winner gets 26 points as if they won a regular main event, but they certainly worked a little bit harder to do it than they would for a normal main event.
Yeah, I feel like it's the worst. These races are the worst. Kind of think of a real life privateer, you know, traveling to a race where they're borderline main event guy. They never really qualify fast, and they kind of have to use their racecraft. God, that's such a big jump. It looks so sick. But it's like towards the end of my racing career, I'd be qualifying in every time, you know, 30 to 35th place in qualifying. And I would just hope that my experience and my racecraft and maybe good starts and just getting up there and staying smooth and consistent would help get me into the main event, you know, especially when we had semis and an LCQ. You had 3 different chances to get in. These are really hard for bubble guys that kind of sometimes you just know you have no chance. You don't have that blazing speed, but you know you have the racecraft to get in or to try to force yourself in. So we're going to have to see if any of these guys are people that we don't normally see. But yeah, it's just really, really stressful as a racer if you know you're not one of the top, you know, consistent main event guys. But
Austin Bear going 12 o'clock on it.
Showing us some good stuff here, though. Saw him almost hit a quad out of that rhythm section. So these 450s, I feel like there's a lot of, you know, simple triple, quad, double, like that first section there. Some of these guys trying to switch it up. Chase B looks like he's trying to corner cut and downside the triple. Just everyone trying to do whatever they can to kind of gain some time when these qualifying times were so close tonight. So
What is happening right now?
really gonna see what's going on here.
Don't know what we're waiting on.
It's all right. Gives us some more time to see the track. We missed a couple minutes of that first race. So you see just how big that is, though. Chase B, you can normally sit at the bottom of a Supercross finish line in first gear and just click it off on a 450. So these guys having some trouble. We're going to see a triple over, triple, and then does he pull a quad here? Definitely possible. So do you go 3-3-4-2 or do you switch it up on off?
I think the 3-3 is better at the end because you carry more speed off of that last triple. You go lower as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know what these guys are doing just yet. I haven't seen the 450 qualifying groups at all. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the 450 last chance qualifier here at the Triple Crown at Anaheim 2 in MX Simulator. Let's see who makes the 450 main events right now.
And the gate is down. We see a big jump from actually Jeremy Smith on the inside, but he's actually going to hug inside that Suzuki who had a good jump and push wide. Jeremy Smith, the veteran, is going to get himself up there, and Chase B right behind him. We got a Yamaha number 46. Looking like Jay Hill on that, and they actually get together. So,
someone, off the side of the track, couldn't quite see. It was a KTM on the pink KTM off the side of the track. Blakely up into second. Alec Horn down his inside is going to make the pass, though. Go up into second place as Blakely jumps off the track. Is going to give up third and maybe fourth as it's side by side with Jaden Wilson over the double, and Chase B goes down in transition. So that puts Wilson up into fourth. Matthias Janis on Mundungus. I don't know what team that is, but he goes into third.
He goes down in
and
the
he's going to go down, and he stood up. And he gets plowed into by Austin Bear. So our front three are getting away, and it's still stacking up in the corner. Nobody's gotten through clean. Finally, Evan Holt goes through in the final transfer spot. What a weird way to start this thing. But I'll tell you what, that stack up in that corner probably really helped Chase Blakely still have a shot at this thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. It was so clean on the first 2 turns that I thought were going to be where all the carnage was, and everyone started piling up actually on that third turn when you kind of hit that hump into the bail, people going outside, inside. But Holte, after getting by that huge pile up after the whoops, finds himself in the final transfer spot. He does have company behind him there and a huge gap up front to third. So he's got to get on the gas and get up there or hope for some mistakes because he's got a train of riders looking to get past
look
him.
at the quad
as we see
from
the big
Janis.
quad double. Janis actually over jumps it and loses some time. But yeah, not sure if that's going to be faster with that 5 foot, 3 foot out right here. Let's see if we see some mistakes.
Those guys get over that clean, but I feel like Janis is really starting to put the pressure on Holtze for this spot right now, and our leaders are battling it out as well. We got a 3-rider train up front. I want to see what Janis is able to do, though, with Holtze for P4. Is he going to triple onto the table and off and make the pass into 4th place? So that is going to be a transfer spot exchange, and we'll see whether Janis can even inch away from this now as more action happens behind them. Let's go up front, though. It's Jeremy Smith leading this thing with all kinds of pressure from Alec Horn. Wilson's gone missing. He's just getting back on as Holtze comes right there. Oh, Holtze, you got to give him a nose right there, dude. You got to go down the inside and push him off the track if you want this transfer spot to the main event.
For once, I actually like the playing it safe bet. Even though I would love to see some carnage here with Holtzy punting Jaden over the berm, but maybe we'll see it up yet. But man, look at that train of riders you can see in the back of the camera, and maybe he thinks Wilson is just going to make a couple more mistakes on your own. We got Heilman leading this group, followed by Dakota French, Brandon Nygren, James Ohashi, and Devin Davis, who definitely wants to get up there, and Sonny Spicer or Chase B gets into the back of him, just pushing too hard, and he might be out of it. Alex Heckman, SYS Racing Team holding it down, but a long way away from the transfer spot. So we're going to work our way back up here and check out Holtzy hunting down Jaden Wilson still, just playing it safe.
Yeah, well, Wilson has actually gotten away from Holtzy a little bit, and he's trying to close up onto Matthias Janis, and we maybe got a glimpse as to why Wilson was back here in the first place as he got sideways through the sand. Maybe did that a lap prior. But Janis and Wilson kind of nose to tail. Looks like a change for the lead has happened. Horn has gotten around Jeremy Smith, which I assume might be just Smith riding smart right here. Doesn't want to get involved in a battle for the lead when he's comfortably in a transfer spot. So he maybe let Horn go. Now they're going to latch onto each other and see if they can't just kind of freight train their way through the rest of this LCQ. Still over a minute left on the clock. And then once time expires, of course, the white flag will wave next time by. So that is how it breaks down in the LCQ so far. Horn from Smith. Janis now up into third. And Holt has taken back over fourth place. So Jaden Wilson, like you said, playing it safe, throws it away for Wilson, so Holt gets it back. And now Brandon Nygren is going to be trying to close up and put the pressure on. Let's go on board with the 76.
Yeah, you can tell Nygren's got the speed. He's getting a little huckabuck here in the whoops, but he rides it out. Ooh, almost tucks the front there coming in. So we see this triple on-off quad here. So pretty easy for these 450 riders to get through that. Just got to keep it smooth. But he is chasing down this P4 that Holtzy is holding right now. These guys jumping through that sand section. And actually just really interesting with these guys, these 450 guys, their approach to this track, and they're definitely pushing it right now. And it's crazy that these are only the guys that are going to get the last 4 spots. We haven't even seen our top qualifiers out here, but these guys are already pushing so hard. And we're going to see our first look at the 2 lanes that you can do in this long rhythm. They're both going to go over triple quad.
Is that Janis off the side of the track? It is. Janis getting back on alongside Nygren as Nygren's going to run him to the top of the corner. And that's Janis there on that white Husqvarna to the outside now of Nygren coming through the berm right here. And you can see Nygren hopping over these doubles. He's got Evan Holt just in front of him. And now we got a great battle for what is third place, but it is still getting
he's
crazy.
going down.
Oh, Holtzy's down, but he takes him with him, and he actually stays up.
Way.
So somehow that is going to take Nygren down. Janis goes back to the final transfer spot. Dakota French now up into fourth place for French, as it's just all shaken up like crazy back here in this battle for the final spot. And the white flag is waving, so it's crunch time for these guys now as Holtzy's still sitting just back there in fifth.
Yeah, Nygren really got the bad end of that stick there. You see a guy getting huckabuck like that, the last thing you want is for him to kick across the whoops and hit you, but that's exactly what happens. But Dakota French is here to capitalize it, chasing down Matthias Janis, but he really just has to hold off Holtzy, who's been there from the start. So Holtzy's really going to be pushing this last lap. He wants to get back where he was, but we see Dakota French here playing it safe. Holtzy going for the big quad, trying to gain a little bit of time, but now this is getting really tight here, and Dakota French wants to move up, and Matthias Janis better watch himself here, because he's going to get put back into the 4th spot if he's not careful here. We see Dakota French moving up,
and they hit each other. Oh, and they're both down. Holtzy's going to get stood up in the corner of the 75 of, who is that getting into the mix there on the 75?
Lapper?
Is it a lapped rider? It might be, as these guys continue to battle, and it does appear that it was a lapped rider getting in the mix.
No.
Up front, Jeremy Smith is going to take the win as Thomas Sunis jumps back onto the track in front of these guys. It looks like we've lost Holtzy, so Janis is clearing away at this point in time. Almost through the front door for Dakota French as Alec Horn finishes in 2nd place.
Brandon Nygren takes it.
Yeah,
Dakota French
coming to the flag. Let's see. It is going to be French and Janis going to the main event out of the LCQs, so it got a little bit tight and twisty there towards the end. Nygren misses out. Holtzy going to kick himself. Went down twice in the whoops in the last 2 laps, and that has cost him a transfer spot to the main event.
Man, that's so much carnage there. It feels so bad for Holtzy. I'm looking at the top left of our screen. Before we have cuts in here, no real close finishes, but Jeremy Smith actually, Nygren must have went down. He had that 10-second lead, but yeah, he was a little bit slower than Nygren, who was battling, so I definitely think that was a smart move to go ahead and let him have that spot. and just ride his own race and maybe give himself some room. But big gaps between our top three here, 10 seconds between each of them. The only close battle was Janice finishing up in fourth, less than 1 second back. But a huge, man, crazy for their own differences here, or for their own different reasons. And I don't see any changes, maybe 1 second between the first and second place position, but everything else staying pretty similar here inside our top four as these guys move along into the 450 main event. But now we're going to have to go back to our crazy carnage class. We're going to go 250 main event 1, 450 race 1, and then back and forth throughout the night, giving these guys a little bit of a break so they can get some rest between the main events. But man, it's going to be some nonstop action here tonight, some quick races. Main events aren't much longer tonight than the race that we just saw happen here.
Definitely going to be a fun main event coming up here in just a moment, as we have 250 main event number 1 coming on the docket here at Anaheim 2, the Triple Crown, the first of 3 Triple Crowns in 2023. You are watching right now at the moment round 4 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. Of course, a big shout out to MotoOption Clothing for still being the title sponsor of this series a decade later. Phil Ski and Snowboard, Underground RC, and Race Tech Suspension all on board with us as well. But yeah, it is main event time here. So 250 main event number 1 is about to come up, and we will see whether or not anything changed from that 250 last chance qualifier result where we saw riders cutting the track. It got a little bit gnarly there towards the end. We're not too sure exactly of an official ruling just yet. Have not been told anything in Discord either from the Race Factory Gaming guys. So not too sure what exactly happened, but I guess we're about to find out.
We're gonna find out now as we get back in here. We'll have to check it out and see. I think we're gonna see with Smith getting that last spot. I feel like that's just what's right with kind of how those gaps ended up there near the end. Feel bad for some of the riders that missed out, but man, that was just crazy racing, and I can't wait. The 250 class is just so unpredictable, and I feel like, especially with that big double across the start, and actually the 250 guys seem to be having some trouble in these rhythm sections. And the whoops, I've seen people say were a little bit smaller, but we had a lot of crashes there tonight so far. So, and we're just getting started. We haven't even gotten to the points paying races. So, really excited to see what happens here, and looking forward to some crazy 250 class racing here tonight. Okay. But yeah, as we're loading back in here on the 250 main event, excited to see Seth Shirley. He wasn't our fastest qualifier here tonight, but he does have, I think, a 10-point lead in this so far. Yes, he does over Jet Holyhead, but Jet Holyhead actually a way faster qualifier here tonight. So it's going to be really interesting if Holyhead just tries to get out front and can race away from these guys, or if everyone else has closed the gap with some of the extra practice time that they've had on the track so far.
Yeah, definitely some extra practice time that we don't normally get to see. I guess the 450 guys always get that a little opportunity because the 250 heat races are going, but now all the main event contenders had, I guess at this point, about 30 extra minutes to dial in the track a little bit further if they so choose to. Sometimes people load in and they just watch the races and kind of pick up some lines from either the 250 guys or the 450 guys in that last chance qualifier. It just depends on how you went about it. I remember back when I raced personally, I would do my qualifying times and then I would just load in and watch. I didn't ever feel like I could learn a lot more about riding the track before I raced it. Maybe even watching it would help you because you would understand kind of the flow that guys would have through a corner, and then you could go try those things. But for me, I usually like to just let it, sit and not, I guess, put too many laps in and get too confident. And then once you blow it off the start or something stupid, then you ride a little bit too hard.
Yeah, you can definitely burn yourself out too. Definitely, you would have so many breaks. If you made it through the heat race, a lot of time, my time would be spent spotting my other teammates in maybe different heat races or LCQs and stuff. But that didn't happen to me very often. So I was normally looking for a little bit more time or a little bit more consistency in tricky rhythm sections that I was having trouble with. But definitely taking some time can help you out here. But during the last maybe lap or two of that race there, these guys are getting ready, throwing down a lap or two at least, just to get everything back, their fingers back, feeling the control over their bike and getting back with the track. But we actually haven't seen too much, I don't think, of the road come into play here. We are going to see a little bit longer laps. That's so impressive on the 250. A little bit longer laps or lap races, so we're going to see a little bit more road from these guys, and maybe making this track a little bit more difficult. But look at that clean white number 44 red plate holder of Seth Shirley, ready to get this thing going.
Yeah, these guys in game decided it was breast cancer awareness night. That was not the volition or understanding that I had for the stream or from Race Factory Gaming, but the racers themselves wanted to do some breast cancer awareness tonight with the pink theme stuff. So always cool to see. And now it is time to be quiet and watch the racing happen right in front of us. Who's going to get that all-important hole shot? 10 minutes plus the lap. Let's go 250 main event 1 racing in Anaheim.
Sir, and we actually see a big jump from the inside
there.
there.
Shirley's down halfway down the start straight. And it's going to be Aaron Rockefeller by the looks of it. No, he just got pushed wide. Excuse me. It's Maxime Vanderbeek on the 29, the Belgian rider. Gets the whole shot and slides out. Oh, and he causes a bit of a stack up as everybody coming over the berm is going to get pushed onto the ground. And a few more riders going down on the inside as well. So not the cleanest of starts, but it is Vanderbeek who leads, and it has gotten real tight at the front in a hurry.
Man, those two, are those Hondas? Can't tell. KTM's gas.
Everyone's in pink and white tonight. It's tough to tell what anybody's riding.
They got such a great start, but we saw a big mistake there. We see Frank Jackson casing that right now, but he's still going to hold on to the 4th position, or he's going to drop back to 4th. Tanner Thorson in 2nd. First charge through the whoops. Oh, we see a big jump.
Oh, and our leader's gone down. Gatlin's going to take the lead as he jumps through the whoops. Looking like Marvin Muscan out there just bunny hopping his way through. Then cases the entire rhythm section, gets landed on, and there goes the lead. Your 15 seconds of fame are up as Tanner Thorson goes to the front on the Proline Designs 91. Now he's sideways and almost goes down. Nobody wants this lead in the 250 class.
Yeah, Tanner Thorson barely hanging on there. Feels so bad for Jack Gatlin after an amazing pass into the lead. But, man, that's a similar line to the jump line that we saw last week, where the guys were jumping into that first starter whoop and then able to this time jump through 2 jumps cleanly. So we'll see if guys start to switch to that. Sometimes you see one person do it and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that was possible. But man, Tanner Thorson with a great start here. Not hitting that quad out, but honestly, I think that triple might be faster if you're going over, or those guys could go step on off. Thorson a little bit off, but he's getting some pressure here.
It's got the
from Frank Jackson on the
28.
Phil's machine.
28 of Frank Jackson definitely clothing up here on Thorson, and it is all topsy-turvy inside of the top 10. More guys going down on the double in the background. We just saw that out of sight, but the battle for the lead is starting to turn into a good one. As you can see, Jackson gets the jump on clean. Thorson's made a couple mistakes and has allowed Jackson to close right up to his rear fender as we go almost side by side off of the triple here in the back. And these guys kind of hopping through those sand rollers on the inside, back across the start straight so fast, going through these different sections of the track. And also we're seeing the different split lines through right there as well. Some guys electing to cut down early, take that low line. Some guys doubling across to maintain speed through the berm in the corner. But it doesn't seem like anybody's really got a favorable line just yet. As now, Thorson actually has a little bit more breathing room, I think. He's made a couple good corners, and Jackson is not right on him anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of yo-yoing. These guys each have a spot on the track that they're a little bit faster, but I feel like that could switch up. A lot of these guys almost jumping off there because they're looking for that right angle. But, man, these guys are just training and pulling away, but that's a big thing. As I see Weigman in 4th scrolling across the top of the screen, just some of these guys that qualified through the LCQ able to put themselves up front. But remember, we do have 3 of these races, so if you go out there and win, it's not all the points for the night. You have to go there and repeat this 2 more times. So Thorson with a great start, obviously where you want to be, but not to say that some of these guys that are having a bad race, as we see Seth Shirley scrolling across the top in 15th place there.
Caden Matherly way back there as well. Some real bad nights. Jet
And
Holyhead
White
is
Drizzle,
21st. So our 2 championship leaders, 1st and 2nd, are 15th and 21st respectively in this main event. Now, of course, because it is a Triple Crown, they have the opportunity in those 2nd and 3rd main events to still have good results and maybe pull their overall score back, but this is going to be a huge detriment to even trying to get on the podium tonight if they're going to finish that far back in the first main event. As Thorson continues to lead this race, it is so close between he and Frank Jackson. Nobody is budging an inch so far, but great racing out of both of these guys to still hit their marks after all that chaos on the first lap of the race. They have settled down nicely. Now we're about 4 minutes into this thing, so almost at the halfway point. And we're also seeing Daniel Olson kind of sneaking up into the mix a little bit. Not seeing anybody jumping through the whoops like Gatlin was earlier, but man, oh man, crazy race so far in this 250 class.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see these guys not giving each other an inch, just like you said, just holding it right there. And if these guys are this consistent, okay. Thought I saw our leader go down too as well. I was waiting for the camera pan. Oh God. But Thorson actually pulling a little bit of the gap here, but these guys look really smooth and consistent, as does our third place rider. These guys are just kind of chugging along. So if they can do this, and maybe some of our championship leaders keep having mistakes, making mistakes all night, you need good starts and good consistency to be able to make it through one of these Triple Crown races here. But man, Thorson just looking so good. Doesn't look like he's pushing at all, but maybe because he doesn't have to. A lot of his competition
rear end slip through the corner. He cases the double. Here comes Frank Jackson, who's going to jump right over top of him and take the race lead away. Just as you said it, A-Wood, he slides the rear end out of the corner, and Jackson goes to the race lead. But Daniel Olson, I feel like we got to look at this TSCZ Productions ride moving up here, because he has been sneaking into this picture between what was our two leaders. Now he sits in second place behind Gatlin here. We might have a battle for the lead between Olson and Gatlin before long, because Olson has been pushing up into this group.
Yeah, Olson, you could see him just clawing away at their lead little by little, as we see our fourth place position back there too. But Olson doesn't want to stop. He wants to get up there and take this first place position off of their hands, and he's just been pushing and pushing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we looked and he had the fastest lap time out of any of these guys in this front group right now.
Actually, yeah.
102.8 as his best, running a 103.2, 103.6 is Jackson's best, and a 103.5 is Tanner Thorson's best. So yes, he's 7/10 faster on his best lap against all these other guys that are up here. But man, look at these guys so hard on that 250 to hit that tight corner and get that drive, as we saw him make a mistake the lap before. But man, these guys so close up here in this short race. It's like a heat race, but this top three has definitely separated themselves.
Oh, Thorson getting a little bit cattywampus through the whoops right there. And Olson is closing right up to Gatlin again. So we want to look back and see where some of our championship contenders are, or perhaps some other battles. But I feel like we're at the tipping point with this lead battle up front, where any moment we're going to see something happen with Olson closing up on Frank Jackson. But as you can see at the top of your screen where everybody is, Max Chwalik has now moved into fourth. I believe Sam Weigman went down in the 90 before the double jump, so I think that's why he lost all those all that time, not necessarily positions. But you also can see that Seth Shirley has now moved up into the top 10. He's running in P9, so good recovery there for our championship leader, as Olson goes quad double trying to get to the inside of Gatlin. Not quite close enough, but it is so close in this battle for the lead. This might be it right here to the inside in the 90, and he takes it over. Daniel Olson to the front.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he made a mistake there, or if he just kind of knew he was coming, but maybe didn't get the best jump or the best line off that first triple. But Olson able to cut right under and take that lead away. But he definitely has the most speed out of this top group, so he needs to separate himself right here. We're gonna have about, looks like he might not be able to make it before the 8-minute mark. No, he's gonna have 30 seconds to get there, so definitely going to go 2 more laps after this. So Olson has a long time to hang on, but that's also going to help some of your championship contenders. Oh yeah, to help your championship contenders get up there. Actually, so 10 minutes. So we actually have a lot more time going on here, but Olson, he's trying to run away with this thing and give himself some breathing room. So that's actually a lot more time than I originally thought for Seth Shirley, who was up in the 9th last time we saw him, and a lot of those other guys. But man, so good to see some of these 250 riders making names for themselves, even as we move further back through the pack. But these guys they were a little consistent at the start of the year, but so many of these guys are kind of picking up the speed here and trying to compete.
Yeah, I don't know where Daniel Olson came, Daniel Olson came from this week, but he is looking so strong out front as he continues to pull this lead away. Frank Jackson has slipped a little bit ways back in second. It's still Thorson in third. And then we go way back here to just before the whoops. It's Max Chwalik entering the whoops in fourth. Sam Weigman still rounds out the top 5. Dalton Plessinger back here in sixth is putting the pressure on Weigman in that battle for the top 5. And here is our championship leader, Seth Shirley. So he was well down the order. We saw him go down coming into the first turn, but I almost imagine if he went down again. And actually, that's Weigman hung up with Plessinger in the corner, so that's going to give Shirley a top 5. Well, Shirley hit me up earlier this week And he sent me some bike skins. I asked him if I should start calling him Houdini after that act that he pulled off last week to still win the main event in San Diego. And he told me it's all about consistency. He wasn't expecting necessarily to win last week in San Diego, but he was never concerned because of the consistency that he puts out lap after lap, just trying to do the same lap over and over again, not overriding the track. And now look at this. He had a bad start. He was down in the first turn. Suddenly, he's in 5th place, and there's still time potentially to catch more guys, which puts himself in a great position to maybe still win this race tonight.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of realize that you have that little bit more consistency than the other guys. Doesn't always have to have the raw speed. He's already got a 10-point lead in the championship. You're going to have 3 chances at it. And with these 10-minute plus 1 lap races, he shows that he had enough time to get up here from all the way back in like 16th or 17th. So we're going to have to see. So Holyhead was way back there as well with him. He hasn't even cracked the top 10. So Seth Shirley just kind of has that confidence inside him. He's got that red plate, and he knows wherever I start, I can work my way up. Think of if this was a 15-minute main event like normal, he would have so much more time. So not only does he have more chances, but still has a good amount of time to make. So Seth Shirley really wants to take control of this championship 4 rounds into their 9-round championship. He's trying to kind of set the bar here and show everyone that even if he doesn't have a great start, he's going to move his way up into the top 5 and score some decent points.
Absolutely. All right, 10 minutes have come and gone, which means time has expired on our race leaders. White flag will wave next time by for Daniel Olson, the TSCZ Productions ride on the 427. He's got number 17 on his bikes, but I believe that is because the TSCZ Productions guys still only have EU skins. Trying to get them to turn it around and maybe give us some US skins so that we can see the 427 of Daniel Olson, as well as some of their other riders like Nathan Prynne, who's also up towards the front in the 450 division. But the white flag is now waving here on 250, main event number 1, and Olson looking pretty right now. He's got a 5-second advantage behind him. He's got some lap traffic to get through in front of him, but as long as he gets through it pretty clean and can just put down a decent enough last lap, he will have the win here in main event number 1.
Yeah, really proud of Thorson and Jackson, I think, who actually might have went down. There was just a switch.
Jackson. Twilight did go into 3rd place. He's just ahead of Thorson, so this is still close between all these guys. And Jackson's actually getting held up by a lapped rider right now. I can't see who that is. Almost gets together with him. It's a 72, I believe. But boy, these guys are tightening up. This could be an interesting battle for the final podium spots coming down the stretch here. As, oh man, Thorson almost got stood up by that same lapped rider going through the turn right there. That's J.R. Reyes being put a lap down. So it's going to come down to these final few straightaways. Twilight jumps on off behind. It is going to get close. Meanwhile, up front, Daniel Olson going to pick up his first Triple Crown main event win of the year as he comes through the final turn. Daniel Olson wins 250 main event 1 in Anaheim.
That was an impressive ride right there. Frank Jackson trying to hold off, and looks like he's going to be chilling back here. 2nd place coming around. Twalik right behind him, though.
3rd and 4th.
Great ride. Thorson.
Nose to tail over the line. Wow.
Man, that was great. I was trying to compliment those guys on their consistency, not getting scared, but Twalik able to capitalize. And Seth Shirley, look at that, 5th place, and not going to lose many points here. 5th place is not a bad start at all to a Triple Crown. Daniel Irvine, that's what distracted me off the start. I lost my train of thought because I was just watching him, and I was so surprised.
So Irvine crosses in 6th, Weigman 7th, Cade Matherly 8th, Bodie Parker is going to finish up in 9th, and Jack Gatlin might round out the top 10, or is it Holyhead? It is Jet Holyhead who ends up in P10.
Man, I am so surprised that Holyhead was able to make that charge late. He was in 15th like 1 or 2 laps ago and was really stuck back there. Really had a hard time getting started here. Hopefully he can turn that around for the 2nd main event here as we get ready for the 450 main number 1 coming up. But man, really impressive ride. Let's look through the top 10 and see if we have any changes.
Oh yeah, Bodie Parker
jumps Cade.
Cade, yeah, on cuts for 8th.
R.I.P. Cade, come on.
And it looks as though everything else stayed the same, which is wild for how close it was in that battle for 2nd. But how about it? Daniel Olson, 250 main event number 1 winner. Well, we talked about the potential, at least, of a off-the-wall main event winner to start the night here. And I feel like this is kind of it. Daniel Olson was flying under the radar coming into tonight. He's one of only 5 triple-digit guys in this main event. and he is walking out of here as the winner of main event number 1. I didn't see it. Maybe you did or somebody else did, but I did not.
Well, I just haven't seen much from him so far this year, and he was actually one of only 4 guys in that race to run a 102. So when you have that sort of competition, you just come out swinging with those lap times. He's clearly gelling with the track, likes something about it, and we're going to have to see if he can repeat because that was really, really impressive. We'll have to see if he can compete with Seth Shirley, if Seth Shirley gets a start next time. Holyhead finally got it together about halfway through the main, but sometimes you just have so much problem with lappers and you just can't get it together and you just are on the ground over and over and over again, maybe because you're battling with people that you're not normally used to racing around. So we're going to have to watch out with something kind of the same way in this 450 main event with as far as Alexis Leclerc, Colby Eaglin, and Braden Carter. They're all really good starters though, but really interested to see. I feel like the start really has favored so far in the 3 races we've seen the inside gates where they can hug that inside and just stay out of the carnage. So really going to be curious to see what happens here as we get into this 450 main.
Yep, 450 main event number 1 coming up next, and this is all the heavy hitters, and they're all going for the same points haul that we just saw from the 250 class. Again, if you're just joining us, this is a Triple Crown event in Anaheim, round 4 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. And the Triple Crown format is 3 main events. The 250 class goes 10 minutes plus a lap for all 3 of their main events, and the 450 riders go 12 minutes plus a lap for all 3 of their main events. And you score points based on where you finish basically in each main event. So if you win the main event, you pick up 1 point. And if you win all 3 main events, that's 3 points. And the lowest score at the end of the night wins the overall standings on the evening. So once all is said and done and we have an overall score on the night, it'll further kind of explain who is going to walk out of here with 26 points, 23 points, 21, and so on. But right now, we have just had 1 race in the books. That is 250 main event number 1. Now it's time for 450 main event number 1. And we'll see who sets the tone early here tonight in those 450s in Anaheim.
Yeah, really excited to see this 450 group get started. We saw a little, not as much carnage in their LCQ, but a little bit more speed and still some craziness here. But man, the names that you have, the champions that you have in this class are always just super exciting. And these guys know how to get up and go. So with these a little bit shorter main events than they're used to, might not have to hold on to the consistency factor as long as possible. You know, you're not having to go 20+1 without a crash. Some guys that have been crashing a little bit. Leclerc had been making some mistakes last year, but he's normally pretty consistent. But we know he has insane speed, and look at that, just scrubbing through that rhythm section, keeping low. And man, Leclerc is definitely one to watch out for. He became famous for his starts. They actually patched the game to try to stop him from being so good with different start maps and all that stuff, but he's still able to keep his speed up for the last couple of years. So Leclerc definitely no slouch when it comes to his starts.
All right, here we go. The 30 card is sideways. It's time for 450 main event from Anaheim to Let's Go Racing.
Let's see Leclerc getting a wheelie on that inside. He's not going to get the start. We see the number 78 Yamaha with
That's
Braden
Hubbard
Carter
again.
right behind him, but Braden goes wide, and Alec Horn actually.
It's Hubbard that's going to get the whole shot, but Leclerc got together with Johnson on the inside, and they got a little bit hung up. I wonder if any of those guys are going to learn from that and maybe pick a different gate for main event too, but it is Hubbard again picking up the RaceFactoryGaming.com whole shot award. A lot of guys down in the second rhythm lane. Castellaneta is down. I think that might have been Sullivan just going down. The 42 is also down as well, so a few guys caught up, but there is Braden Carter, there's Alexis Leclerc, so they're off to good starts, and they're behind their teammate now, Hubbard, who has a few second advantage at the front.
Man, after getting pushed so wide on that first corner, they got lucky with all the rest of the carnage going on there, and were able to get back up 1, 2, 3 for the Phil's Yamaha machines. Really impressive start by Jacob Hubbard. He had that thing from the absolute start and had that inside gate pick to keep it clean. Looking really smooth through that sand section as well. So we'll see if these guys can just go and take a lead or pull a lead out. But he knows that Braden Carter and Leclerc, his teammates, are going to be chasing him down, trying to get that out. I feel like the 450 scores in these main events as far as their Olympic scoring is going to be a lot lower with some of the consistency and experience that these guys have. So really interested to see if Hubbard has the speed to hold on. He's going to make a little mistake there, but we're already seeing different lines. I think that's on-off quad or on-off.
On-off triple quad, I believe, is what he just pulled right there. But I like what I'm seeing here. We got Hubbard, Carter, and Leclerc, which are 3 big dogs up front. Eaglin's here as well, and Payson Johnson.
Man.
So you have a really stacked top 5 at the moment. We're missing Tyler Lang, who's back in about 7th spot right now. But boy, oh boy, if Johnson can push up to this group, and we know he has the pace in him, no pun intended, that he's going to be able to do some damage and try to get through this field. Maybe try to mix it up with the leaders before long, and maybe he pushes his teammate Colby Eaglin up there as well.
Yeah, we're only really missing Prin from that start, but as far as these kind of top tier guys, but man, it's crazy that this top 5 is pretty much the top 5 that we have in points here. So much speed between all of these guys. Just really impressive to see him. Payson, man, he's an animal. He was doing a little bit of that wheelie into the rhythm that we saw last week in that last section before the quad. Really interested to see what these guys are doing. So this is what I thought the rhythm would be all week, was on-off triple quad single for some of these guys. So good to see these 450 guys doing that. Didn't really see much of that in the LCQ, but man, look at Payson. He's just like a freaking robot up the inside there
of his teammate Eaglin. Doolies across the start straight. Teammate Doolies as well. Love to see it. But Johnson down the inside makes the pass up into 4th place. Now he's got a little bit of clean air, and Alexis Leclerc ahead of him. So we'll see if he can run down the fast Frenchman. Meanwhile, battle for the lead starting to brew. Hubbard has led for about the first 3 laps of this race, but his teammate and team owner, Braden Carter, has caught him, and the 2-time defending champ on the number 1 machine is ready to do battle for the lead in Anaheim.
Yeah, not sure if Hubbard is kind of lacking a little bit of the speed that these guys have behind him, or if Braden Carter is just yanking or pulling up on him a little bit. But man, it's so impressive to see these guys week after week just be so consistent and so fast. I mean, that's why they're the best in the game, and that's why he has the red plate behind him. Look at that, coming up really close to his teammate there. I feel like we're going to see a pass within the next lap. Maybe not the next half of this lap, but next lap and a half as Hubbard throws down a dirty scrub there. He's holding on for dear life here. He's only 3 minutes in, or almost 4 minutes into this 12-minute +1 race. So he's got a long ways to hold on to this. And it's scary when you got Braden Carter breathing down your neck like this.
A third of the race distance done so far in 450 main event number 1. And it is the champ, Braden Carter, closing up on his teammate Jacob Hubbard for the race lead. Alexis Leclerc still sitting back there in 3rd. And I believe we may have lost Payson Johnson. Johnson, who was in 4th place, did not appear to be in the rhythm section behind those guys anymore. Yeah, look at big gap, just landing off the Supercross triple right there. So I think a few guys may have gone down. We'll go back and see what's going on there in a moment, but I feel like this battle for the lead is starting to brew, and I wonder if Carter, I don't know how he didn't go down. He clipped the top of that jump with just his rear tire. I wonder if Carter thinks he's got to be a little bit urgent here, because if he hangs out behind his teammate too long,
there we go.
Leclerc's going to get there, but he quad singles to the inside, takes the lead away from Hubbard. Now let's see if Hubbard is able to fight back. He's going to go outside to in right here. Got a good line up to this. Oh, and Johnson scrubs too hard and chases. Somehow Hubbard doesn't hit him as he jumps back to the lead, but Leclerc is going to... Oh, he jumps off the track as well. And now he's closed up right behind Carter. It's still back and forth, but now it's kind of settled back into a little bit of a trend here. Hubbard, Carter, and Leclerc battling it out for the lead in Anaheim.
Man, all of these guys making big mistakes right there all at the same time. And Carter, I was going to say, has a little bit more speed than Leclerc. I don't think he was too worried about him right now, but now when you've got him within... a 1/10 of a second on your rear tire, you got to be nervous, because he could put it in there and make a pass at any time. We already see Leclerc kind of going in a little bit aggressively there, just kind of showing him a wheel. You can definitely tell and hear when someone's like that. But look at these 3 guys, unmatched speed. Braden Carter just hitting that so fast. And man, let's see if Carter can make another quad here.
Look at Leclerc's different option here. Quad double. Might get to the inside here of Carter. Oh, shows him a wheel. And now look at Hubbard jumping through the rhythm section in front of these guys. And now Hubbard, I thought he was going to go short on that. These guys are scrubbing down that jump so hard. Leclerc even cases it a little bit, shows Carter a wheel again. He doesn't care that it's his teammate this time. It is lights out, going for the battle up front here in Anaheim between all 3 of these guys. Who's going to take it? Looks like another day at the practice track for them. Leclerc to the inside on Carter is going to get second away right here, and he's got it.
Here we go. He's going to have the inside coming to the sand section, but Braden Carter does not want to relinquish control to that position. You know he's going to be fighting back, but after all those mistakes, Alexis Leclerc kind of put the hammer down and was just kind of going and definitely not scared to show his teammate the wheel and kind of make it nervous, showing I'm there. But I love that they're using different lines. Carter up this inside here, able to still get great speed. He actually triples over the end of that Dragon's Back. And man, these guys, different rhythm sections, on, off. You got to step over. You got a quad
better?
there.
I don't really know, but Carter
Braden
blows the rhythm section a little bit.
Blows it.
Really? Oh, Leclerc down through the front door. Got a kicker off of the triple in right there, and down goes the 7. So just when he makes a pass on Carter that took so long to get there and materialize, he goes down and he falls right into the clutches of Payson Johnson in a battle for third.
Yeah, almost like either he got kicked or had a mistimed seat bounce where you just hit it a little bit too late and just send yourself way over the bars. But now he's got trouble behind him, and Leclerc definitely is one prone to making a mistake after mistake. If it starts to go sideways, he'd get pretty frustrated, but he's got some competition here too behind him who's getting a little bit loose. Man, we see these guys pushing just so crazy, and Leclerc goes down again,
and he gets hit by Johnson. They're both down. That's going to be Eaglin going by into third place. So Leclerc slips the rear end out in the sand section, gets sideways, and Johnson had nowhere to go but to plow into him. They both went down, and now Leclerc goes from 2nd to 5th in a single lap.
Man, you could see that rut developing in the sand. I feel like that was the first lap that I saw it happen. And both those guys were kind of taking it that double to the inside, and then Leclerc just lost the rear wheel. But now Braden Carter's all the way back up on Hubbard as they're scrubbing over these doubles. Carter actually straight there a little bit, but it's all about this whoop section here. Can he get a drive through? He's going to try to put the power to the ground. His teammate's got a little bit of huck-a-buck, and he's going to try to cut under and get alongside his teammate in this long rhythm section here. Not too much separating these guys, and he's going to have to wait for a little bit later as these guys
might try the inside right here through the sand. Kind of hopping in sideways was Hubbard, but still Carter, I should say, has not found the opportunity. He's going to double across right here. I think these guys have all figured out that staying to the right side and hitting that low line single is a little bit faster. But right now, man, Carter just cannot quite make the pass stick. Hubbard has done a tremendous job holding off these two guys. But look at that. Carter misses the top jump. He goes for the block pass. Hubbard squares it back up and takes the lead back away from his teammate. They're still side by side as Hubbard goes for the quad, gets a little sideways on landing. Now Carter's going to square it back off as they go through lap traffic. And nearly contact. They're rubbing number plates. And look at this. Hubbard's going to case the double in, but Carter goes a little bit long. Hubbard's trying to scrub up to the inside to keep the lead, and he does because Carter jumped off the track. It's still back and forth. Who's going to finally get this lead away from somebody? Carter around the outside. Hubbard blocks it. Carter cuts back underneath, tripling on side by side. Jacob Hubbard still holds the lead. Unbelievable action for the battle out front.
Oh my gosh, we still have more than 3 minutes left to go in this race, and these guys are battling so insane. It's like it's the last lap. They don't care that they're teammates. They're going for wins here. Hubbard's trying to take points, or whatever points away he can from Braden in the championship, or at least ruin his confidence coming into the show. And listen, I'm the faster guy. I can run up there with you. We see Braden's been so fast up this camelback, and there he goes. He hits that triple over, and I love these guys.
He's going to be on the inside.
Outside. Different lines here. No, same line. Are they going to quad at the same time?
They are.
See.
Carter's
got
on the inside
line, though.
He's going to go defensive. Look at this. Look at freaking Hubbard turned on a dime and left a nickel change and holds onto the race lead as he cuts around the outside to keep it out front. Unbelievable. I don't know how he got that Yamaha turned around so fast, but that was an incredible move by Hubbard, and he keeps the lead for yet another lap as we crest the 10-minute mark.
Look at that speed by Braden Carter coming right up again, not giving him any room to breathe. As once Hubbard sees him make a little mistake, he makes his own and just gets caught right up again. Man, I love the outside insides that these guys have been using. They just know this is one of the best battles I've ever seen. And this is only in our first main event of the night. Man, look at that wheelie into that line from Braden. He's trying to cut off every hundredth of a second as he can. Hubbard with the mistake. And
Dooley's
are they going to land on each
crossing over. Look at Carter's going to try to send it down the inside. It's still side by side. Hubbard's going to go defensive. Again, we're going to have a crossover. Carter to the inside again. Side by side through the rhythm section. Now what does Carter do? Does he try to swing wide and stand him up? No, he goes long.
They both
and
blow
then
it.
Hubbard blows the section as well. Nobody's giving an inch in this battle, and it's still this close together. What is going to happen first? Will Hubbard blow this lead, or will Carter finally make a pass stick? I have no idea.
These guys are using so much of the track here. I really hope that lappers don't come into play. They're already starting to get into some, and they have another minute plus a lap to go. But man, these guys, this is insane. They're so close, have so much trust in each other to just be so smooth and consistent. and they're both making mistakes, but it seems like at the same time, every time something happens, look at these guys, dualies over that. Here we go through the sand, and oh my gosh, they're the same gap for the last 6 laps in a row.
Goodness.
Nothing's changing.
Oh, Carter's got a pretty good drive right here. I wonder if he sends it. No, Hubbard goes defensive. We have still not crested the 12-minute mark. Dualies, and Carter hits him.
Gets hit.
They're both
They
down.
both go
They're
down.
both down after the finish line jump. We have 2 laps to go here. Who's going to come up behind them next?
Though.
Yeah, it's a huge lead as it's Eagland and Johnson back here. They still get up nose to nose here as they come over the Dragons back again. This time, I don't think Carter's close enough, but we'll see what happens.
I don't know. It looks like it's almost the same gap that they've had. These guys have been yo-yoing back and forth. I like jumping up into this corner, cutting down early to give yourself the line. Hubbard's been doing it a lot more, gaining a lot of speed over Braden Carter there. But man, these guys, they're back to pretty much where they've been all race. Like, it's insane. No matter what happens, they just can't shake each other. Braden is pushing so hard. And I know he's got to be smiling, laughing. Look at that drive.
Man.
But here we go. Braden goes high, cuts down. Not able to make any progress here, though, too. These guys have been jumping so deep on
Hubbard
this
through the
triple.
tough blocks. You got to wonder if that'll come back to bite him with cuts with how close they've been this whole time.
Yeah.
Now Carter's made a little mistake in the sand. Hubbard has a little bit more breathing room as we're coming to the white flag this time by. It's down to crunch time, final lap. They don't want to take each other out because Eagland is close enough now where he could win this race. White flag in the air in Anaheim, 450 main event number 1. Who is going to get this done?
Oh, let's see, up the inside. Hubbard actually with a great drive on that Dragon's back this time. That's where Carter's been gaining a lot of time. Carter's coming up alongside him, though. Scrubs that triple.
It doesn't get the quad,
Braden
so
misses the quad, but
Hubbard
can cut
gets
down.
a little breathing room. Not close enough just yet. Look at Carter, though. He stayed really low on that triple in. Now he goes through the tough blocks a little bit as well as Hubbard scrubs the double again. Oh, it's so close, but Hubbard gets a bit of a nose. The whoops are crucial here because Carter's been close. Let's see if he goes to the inside. He's going to try to get a drive. No, he's going to the outside.
Oh,
It
he had
turns
to
to the
dodge a
inside.
lapper.
Oh, he backed out of the challenge as lap traffic gets into the way. Triple on off again. Hubbard jumping over lap traffic. It's coming down to the wire. Oh, it's so close to the flag here. Look at Carter scrubbing the triple.
Sending
Hubbard's short. They both land.
Oh,
Long
Carter
on
with the cut.
I don't know who's going to get this. 2 turns to go. Hubbard holding off his teammate and championship leader Braden Carter, who gives it one last gas. 450 main event 1 goes to Jacob
my
Hubbard
God.
in Anaheim. Unbelievable race. What a show.
I think that was the best race I've ever seen in MXM. Like,
Wow.
as far as just an insanely clean back-to-back battle, like they're racing bar to bar, they're going high, they're going low. That was just unreal, and it's only the first
We still
of the
have
3
more of this
races.
coming.
Castellaneta comes through in
6th. Pablo
6th.
Vial is 7th. We missed so much of these great battles back here because of how
Sullivan
intense
8th.
the lead stuff was. But
You
man,
can't
oh,
even get
man.
mad about that.
Oh, Janice
Oh,
goes
Janice
down. He
goes
was
down.
in 9th, and that is Ethan Parks going to come through and pick it up in P9. Great ride for Parks, and Janice looks like he will round out the top 10. I still am skeptical, though, and have to see whether penalties factor in here because of that off-track cut that Hubbard did before the Supercross triple. Otherwise, they were pretty clean elsewhere that I don't think I remember anything that really stood out to me, but we'll see. We're about to find out as there's Hubbard
my
going the
God.
other way.
Yeah, they both made a couple mistakes, I think, in that double-double section. Then that last lap, a couple laps. A
No,
little bit.
in fact, actually, Carter had 2.3 seconds of cuts. So Hubbard retains the race 1 victory here tonight in Anaheim. Unbelievable first 450 main event. And like you said, we are just getting started.
Man, I'd like to look through that top 10 really quick after that amazing race that we didn't get to watch. See if anything down there changed with cuts. No, actually, really, really big gaps down there. But man, I feel like if you're someone who got 8th place that race and you go back to rewatch it and you see that you haven't been mentioned very much, you just see the race that was going on for lead and you're gonna understand why. It's really hard to go back and look at some of those middle of the pack battles during these races. These main event races during these Triple Crowns in the first place. But man, when you have a battle like that, you just can't look away. I think that was the best race I've ever seen. And I think everyone else will probably agree.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
Oh
well,
my God.
700 of you guys watched that one live, and I don't think that we disappointed at all, bringing quite the action-packed race here in MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross. But that is exactly what we come to see every single week and want to keep coming back for more. Hubbard and Carter going for it here in main event number 1. And like you said, man, we still got so much more to go. 250 main event number 2 coming up next. Another 10-minute plus 1 lap race. And remember, Daniel Olson, the big winner in 250 main event number 1, kind of came out of nowhere. You had Frank Jackson, Max Chwalik, Tanner Thorson, Seth Shirley, all mixed up there inside of the top 5. Some of the more notable ones, we have second in the championship, Jed Holyhead. He finished up in 10th. Cade Matherly, third in the championship, finished up in 9th. And they were both well back there with Seth Shirley in that first main event. So they had a lot of clawing forward to do. All of them ended up inside of the top 10. So I think we can say they did save their nights because they still have at least a shot to contend for the podium. But maybe a win is out of the question if they're going to have, any luck on their side. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, Shirley, I feel like is the furthest one down that you can say has a good chance at winning this. Holyhead after getting 10th, that's just such a big gap to make up. Even if you go 1-1, you got to win with a score of 12. That's super difficult. Meanwhile, Shirley can go 5-5-2 and end up with that same score. So it's going to be really difficult. You're going to be looking at these anyone that got in the top 5 or 6 to see how they do and kind of see who's going to pull it together here. But man, this 250 class has been so crazy. I don't know, maybe some of these guys that got great starts, Olsen, Jackson, Chwalik, Thorson, even though they were so consistent in that race, if they get bad starts and they end up back there, we could really see this one shake up as we move into the second race. So going to be really interesting just to see the starts that some of these guys get. Thorson, Jackson, some of these guys that showed so much consistency here. Like to see Gatlin get back up there again, but Chwalik, man, he's been putting in great rides on that Phil's team, just like all of his teammates. Would be really fun to see him up there, but I do want to see Holyhead kind of get up there and maybe at least play spoiler a little bit with Shirley. He is still battling for championship points. If you don't come out of this one with a win, at least get yourself in the top 5 leaving this round overall.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with Seth Shirley going into the first corner, because the first corner of the first main event was not good whatsoever. He was down halfway down the start straight. So if he can figure it out and come into the first turn a little bit cleaner this time, that'll obviously be a huge benefit to the number 44 championship leader. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. It is time for 250 main event number 2 here in Anaheim. Who's going to get that all-important start? Who's going to win main 2? Let's find out right now.
And let's see, we got a good jump off the number 29 machine on the inside. He's going to pull a little bit of wheelie.
Again. And Shirley's clean into the first turn. He might have gotten bumped from his teammate behind. He is actually down, I think. Shirley is down in the first turn. Maxime Vanderbeek makes it 2 for 2 out on the RaceFactoryGaming.com.
He doesn't throw it away this time.
On the impact number 29, and he does not throw it away this time. Irvine comes through in second, and Jed Holyhead, like you said, you wanted to see a spoiler. He's up here, but Shirley did not go down. He's actually right behind Holyhead, going to make the pass into, I believe, 5th place.
Yes, and I think that's Olsen, our Heat 1 or our Main 1 winner in front of them. So he's got another great start. Let's see. He had some speed. He was one of only 4 guys in the 102 lap times there. So he's got to try to escape from Seth Shirley, as Seth Shirley actually got 2'd right there by Cade Matherly is here. Cade Matherly with a great drive. So he's going, and Shirley's getting cycled back a little bit, but Shirley just needs to stay on 2 wheels here. With how far up he came in that last race, he knows he's got the speed. He's just got to keep it clean for the first lap or 2.
This is our championship top 3 in reverse order right now. Nose to tail, Matherly, Holyhead, and Shirley all mixed up there at the front. And we'll see if they're able to kind of weave through some of these guys. But Olsen, our race 1 winner, also in the mix right here as he's battling it out. I think this is a battle for 3rd place right now. Aaron Rockefeller and he side by side over the finish line jump. As our leader, Maxime Vanderbeek, kind of inching away a little bit. There's actually a battle for 2nd. Oh, and Olsen lays it down. Oh, and he gets dragged to the ground.
Is that Thorson?
That is Holyhead. So I believe that might be, I'm not sure where Daniel Olsen is from. I thought he was Swedish, but Holyhead from Australia. That might have been some Australian lad pulling those guys down.
And Shirley
is down in the middle of the rhythm section, so Holyhead's going to get it going with Shirley right beside him. Oh, and I thought Olsen was getting landed on. Olsen gets put up into the tough blocks as he gets pushed over the berm. And man, oh man, back and forth we go. Battling out here in Anaheim. Sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself.
That was awesome. Vanderbeek with a huge lead, though, as we go back up in the first. And actually, Chwalik, I was talking about, he is in dead last. But Matherly there. Matherly's actually 5th place in points with Padani after a terrible first race. He was in 3rd. And I don't see him anywhere near the top 10 again. So Johnny Padani is just throwing it away here for his championship hopes tonight. But man, Vanderbeek with such a great start here. So Holyhead only in 9th, though, not even back as far as he was I think he was back in 18th or 19th in that first race, so it's going to be super difficult for him to get back up. But man, Vanderbeek with just such a great start here. This is what he wanted to do in that first race. Just hold on to that start, keep it clean, man. Thorson back there in 19th, Jackson in 20th. So this is all flipped around, and this is going to be crazy trying to calculate points once we move in to the third race. But right now it's all about Vanderbeek trying to pull away.
Yeah, and Vanderbeek actually finished 21st in the first main event. So he is doing the ultimate turnaround right now. If he can somehow pull the win out in this main event, put himself in a position where he could finish easily inside of the top 10 overall. Cade Matherly hopping through the tough blocks on the inside right there has moved his way up into second as he cases a Supercross triple. Remember, Matherly finished in P9 in the first main event, and the overall winner on the night is determined by how all three main events go, as Gatlin goes down out of third place. Fortunately, does not take down the rider that was coming through there with him, but he's in a bit of a rough spot right there. Let's see if he gets it going just as more riders come into the fray. That's Irvine and Shirley coming across the start straight together. I feel like Irvine and Shirley are like opposites of each other. You got the pink and black of Irvine and the pink and white of Shirley, with the white wheels versus the black wheels and the black helmet versus the white helmet. It's all upside down for those two guys. They look like they're contrasting colors.
I do like the gloves matching, gloves, helmet, and the wheels matching. I normally would talk crap on having the cue ball helmet, but it looks great right here. Gatlin, man, he's been all over the place. Thrown it away the first race, too, after a great start. I want to see him use that whoop line again. But, man, this is all about Irvine right here. Trying to get away, but Gatlin right there in between, too, as well. Goes a little bit long. He's not going to clear this one, and there goes Shirley. Oh, he actually is going to break. Let's see if Shirley can get the drive through the whoop. So there goes Gatlin doing the jump line. I love that because those whoops have been deadly so far this year, and if you can get through in two jumps like that, I am all for it. That would be my line for sure. But Jack Gatlin holding on and keeping Shirley at bay. So all these guys that saw Shirley come up to fifth last race, they're thanking Gatlin right now for holding him to the back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely not allowing the red plates to be phasing him whatsoever right now is Jack Gatlin. You can see a freight train of riders still built up behind Seth Shirley, so he certainly cannot go down right now because that would be a huge loss of potential points or potential overall finishing results for Shirley. Right now, sitting on a 5-7. We have these overalls kind of all spread apart. We'll try to give you guys a update on them as we have them. Another rider down right there. That is going to be Aaron Rockefeller coming out of fourth place right there on the underground RC machine. Going to slip back to just outside of the top 10 by the looks of it as Shirley shoots up into fifth. He has just made the pass on Jack Gatlin, so the red plate machine goes up into the top 5. There is Daniel Irvine still ahead of him. Bodie Parker with a solid effort right now running in the third position. Cade Matherly still in second, and Maxime Vanderbeek just clicking off the laps out front. Man, where was this Maxime Vanderbeek in the first main event? Nowhere to be seen. Well down the order after that hole shot. But this is what happens. Sometimes you get out front, you get a little bit of that confidence back. And we know Vanderbeek's no slouch, maybe just trying to erase the bad memories of that first main event.
Yeah, it's really depressing if you go out there, you're leading into the, well, now third corner, but that's where he was at, a turn before that rhythm section, and he threw it away. It's probably getting up in 20th place, and that can just really ruin your race. If you feel good out there on the track, you can just run kind of consistent lines on your own. Getting a hole shot's the best thing that can happen for you. He has no one else to worry about. He's just got to go and ride his own race. But really impressed with Vanderbeek after that great start and actually able to hold it together here. Cade Matherly as well in second, just riding such a clean, smooth race. Really impressed with him. But the Yogi boys are right behind him. Or they've got a little bit of a gap, but the Yogi boys are all kind of stacked up together in those 3, 4, 5 spots.
Matherly off the track. Yeah, so Parker's still back there. You got Seth Shirley now moving into fourth place. McIntosh now into the top 5. Rockefeller down out of 6, so another crash for Aaron Rockefeller is going to push him well down the order because everybody is still pretty tied together here in this mid-pack battle. I mean, gosh, he went from, 6th to 14th?
Oh, my God,
8 positions lost from one crash in the whoops, and you can see on the track map in the upper right-hand corner of your screen just how close this train is. You got Rockefeller, Olsen, our Race 1 winner, Sam Weigman, Jack Gatlin, Jet Holyhead in the top 10, Austin Schaefer, Daniel Irvine, Hayden Stevenson, Dalton Plessinger, Rogan McIntosh, all pretty much nose to tail. It is a tight-fought battle from about 5th back to 15th.
Yeah, I mean, 7 minutes on the clock so far, and this is basically where the heat race would be ended up, and maybe a little tighter than a normal heat race would be, but kind of the same thing. You've got all the best guys on the track, so you got to think about 7 minutes into a main event. These guys are so smooth. so clean that they're all kind of on the same level here. As we actually see a mistake right there.
Oh, that's
And
Irvine.
he goes down trying to double over.
He got clipped, I think, just as Holyhead was coming down to land. He clipped Irvine's front tire, and that sent Irvine into a nosedive off of that next jump. So a tough look there for the white wheels on Daniel Irvine as Hayden Stevenson sitting up here a little bit further up on the Yogi Designs ride. Dalton Plessinger, also a solid effort. All these guys having great rides right now and kind of mixing it up right now because Seth Shirley's only made it up to 4th place. He's still trying to charge forward on a 102.7, but our leader, Vanderbeek, is so gone right now. It's just whether or not Shirley can get a little bit further up into this 3rd or 2nd position.
Yeah, we see him still doing that overline triple, though. I really like that on those 250s. I like that triple out. It really sets themselves up nicely for this corner. That triple looks really big on the 250, and then these guys hugging that inside is just so impressive to see how many people can actually get it really consistency. We saw Irvine make a mistake last lap, but man, Seth Shirley just on the run here, and 5-4 with 3rd and 2nd right in front of him. Or is that 3rd and a lapper? But either way, Cade Matherly definitely
it
does.
is 3rd and 2nd. Matherly and Bodie Parker, I should say, are going at it, and you can see Shirley is still just behind these guys. Case in the triple.
Yes, he goes down.
Oh, and he's off the bike in the sand. So Seth Shirley gets the sand section all wrong. I think he might not lose a spot here as McIntosh is just landing the triple. Shirley retains 4th place, but now it's the battle for 2nd that's really where all the eyes are. Cade Matherly trying to hold off Bodie Parker. Great ride for Parker. Matherly doing everything he can to keep him behind him, but I don't know. It seems like Parker has a little bit more pace in hand.
Yeah, Bodie and Matherly really surprising me here, but yeah, Parker definitely has a lot of speed. He's kind of just can't get around him, but Matherly just able to ride a wide bike, and I mean, you don't have too much time left on the clock, so you just got to hold on to that spot. If you can hold on to a 2nd after not the best first race, I mean, that's a really good sign after, especially Seth Shirley only being able to go maybe 5-4 so far. So trying to get yourself up there on a podium pays the same amount of points, as winning one race does. So just get some great starts and ride with some consistency. But man, these guys are so close, and they have been for the last couple laps. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone can catch our leader, if there's any mistakes. But man, just such a great ride by Parker here.
Yeah, Parker keeping it close as we see time just about set to expire. But of course, our race leader, Maxime Vanderbeek, has already crossed the finish line, jump ahead of these guys. So not quite close to the timer, but now the time has expired. It is just now down to 2 laps to go here in Anaheim. Here is Vanderbeek, though, who has run, at this point, what I would call a flawless main event here in Main 2. 16-second lead on Cade Matherly. Holshot has led every single lap. I don't think we've seen him have a fall once, maybe a slide out here or there, but he has just been putting all the pieces of the puzzle together in this one. And boy, if we could have had him in that first main event, we might be looking at a whole different story for the overall winner here tonight in Anaheim.
Yeah, really impressed. He definitely doesn't have that balls to the wall speed as he cleans out a lapper there, I think, in the sand section. But man, just such a great start. And after seeing him hole shot the first race too, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go give himself a chance to go 1-1 in these last 2 main events here and actually pick up some really solid points here on the weekend. But Vanderbeek just so smooth, so consistent here so far. Really impressed right now, and just keeping himself away from all the drama. Still hitting those big lines too. Quad double there, where Seth Shirley in the back, who was trying to gain some time, was still hitting the triple. So just so impressive to see him here. Maybe not scrubbing something if he knows he might have clipped it, or if he doesn't have it. Just really has the race in the palm of his hands right now. And we're actually just got a couple more turns to go for Vanderbeek to try to take this one. And he's just trying to ride this one home smoothly.
Yep, triple it on easily right there, easily done. Like I said, this is pretty much exactly what you want in a main event, or any main event or any heat races. Maxime Vanderbeek getting out front, leading every lap, on his way to victory here in main event number 2. He's got 21st on his scorecard, though, from 21st in the first main event, but he's going to come through and take the win. Main event 2 goes to Maxime Vanderbeek in Anaheim.
And he's got a huge 16-second lead back to Matherly, and Matherly actually has a lot of breathing room now. Looks like he's got some room. Just a lapper coming up behind him.
Weigman maybe still right behind him, but yeah, Matherly does have some free air, so he is a 9th in the first one right now, crossing the line in second, going to be on 11 points. Bodie Parker who was 8th in the first one, finishing 3rd, is also on 11 points. And Seth Shirley, finishing 4th, is now on 9 points to couple with the 5th in his first one. Rogan McIntosh going to cross the line here in P5. And McIntosh was 14th in the first one, so he's on 19. Jet Holyhead ends up in 6th in this one. He was 9th in the first, or 10th in the first one, so he is going to be on 16 points. Somehow, some way, I think Jet Holyhead is on the box at the moment, but it is all shuffled around, and still trying to figure out these results. We'll give you guys an accurate assessment here when we have it. Daniel Olson, our main event 1 winner, is going to finish 9th in this one, so he'll be on 10 points. He'll be 1 point behind Seth Shirley going into the final race of the night. Jack Gatlin, Braden Tharp, Daniel Irvine, Dalton Plessinger, Max Chwalik, Frank Jackson, Aaron Rockefeller, J.R. Reyes, Sammy Weigman, Tanner Thorson, Ryan Anderson, Ryan Pinkerton, and myself in warm-up. I don't know why we don't have 22 guys on the gate. Taking a look and see if cuts have changed anything.
So our top 5 basically all finished 15th to 20th, except for Seth Shirley, who somehow is now in control of this.
Well, Vanderbeek, so he's on 22 points, which normally would be way far back after 2 main events, but it's pretty close. Like, he's, I think, 6th overall as it stands.
If he
pretty
drops
wild where it's at.
First, yeah. If he can finish top 2 in this next main event, that's going to be insane. He'll definitely be in the top 5. I feel like with how inconsistent it has been, but man, to look at back at the end there, Thorson and Jackson, all those guys finished between 15th and 20th. That's just insane. I didn't think Seth Shirley would even be in the running, for a podium unless maybe he won one of these races. So just super insane to see this 250 class. I guess we are still right in calling them inconsistent. Very inconsistent.
It's the 250 class. I think that's just the nature of the 250 classes. Like you said, that inconsistency and well, Seth Shirley, with what he's described as consistency, is working so far. It is a 5-4 result. Somehow might walk away out of here as a winner tonight and maybe not even get on the podium in any of the main events. But I don't know. Sometimes consistency kills, and it's working really well so far for him tonight. All right. Back into the action for the 450 class coming up next. 450 main event number 2. As a reminder, from 450 main event number 1, what we're looking at coming into this second main event of 3, Jacob Hubbard, in the race of his life, held off Braden Carter by just over a second to win main event number 1. Colby Eaglin picked up 3rd. Alexis Leclerc was 4th. Payson Johnson was in 5th. Castellaneta, Vial, Sullivan, Parks, and Janis rounding out the top 10. So kind of all the players we expect to be at the sharp end, right up there at the sharp end in this one. And it sets us up for, I think, a pretty wild night of who's going to win the overall, because any one of these guys can still get it.
Yeah, is Nathan Prynne not even racing tonight? Because he was 4th in points coming into this.
I don't think he is. That's a good point. No Nathan Prynne, 4th in points coming in. I had always wondered why they did not make him NA skins, because he was doing so well in the series, but maybe that's it. Maybe he was only going to be able to make just a few of the rounds this year, and now we know why. He's kind of out of the championship.
Like Magnetti in our 250 class, where we just had to kind of skip over him, even though after a couple great rides so far. So, man, it's all coming down to Jacob Hubbard. He's 20 points back at Braden Carter coming into this. Can he get another great start and outride his teammate? Man, these top couple guys, Leclerc, Eaglin, Carter, Johnson, Hubbard, they're really separating themselves from the rest of the field, and I'm just super excited to see kind of what goes down here. Payson as well. It's just, this 450 class is just so great, and I'm really pumped to see what happens here. We still have 2 more races, and if they're anything like that first race, that was almost like a heat race, and it was, I say, in my top 3 MX Sim races I've ever seen, let alone called. So,
couple quick shout outs real quick. $5 donation came through a little while ago from Neil Wells, or Neil Wheels, and said, here's my donation to argue about sim versus bikes. Fortunately, that conversation is long gone. And Joey Carter also with a Canadian dollars of $2, I should say. Stream is solid tonight. Kevin. He called me Kevin, but that's okay. We're all love and fair game here. Also, Richard Stobert said, just joining. Girl is at work. Air fryer chimichangas, whiskey, and SYS. Sounds like a great night to me. And we're ready to drop the gate here on main event number 2 in the 450 class. Who's going to get the whole shot? Here we go.
So we got Leclerc on the inside. He gets a lot better jump, but he's super tight in that gate. Oh, we see a lot of
big
carnage
chaos.
here in Leclerc.
Hubbard's down. Carter's down in the first turn. I think Johnson stood up in the first turn, and Alexis Leclerc is going to rip the Race Strategy Gaming whole shot. No, Johnson got through clean. He's in second. Logan Lights on the 3 is in third. Eagland is up here. So looks like Carter and Hubbard are the ones that really got buried off the start here. Everybody else that we saw at the sharp end of the first one is right at the front.
Yeah, I mean, that's super bad news for those two. That's kind of the race we were looking to see, but really good news for the rest of these guys who were just behind them in that race, and they're trying to put a stamp on this one and kind of mail it in. All they want to do is just gain some points to make this almost the third main event, like a winner takes all. They need to try to level out the playing field here. So Leclerc and Johnson are going to try to check out as soon as possible here, just try to smooth race and try to capitalize on that mistake. Jacob Hubbard across the screen was in 16th place. Looks like he moved up a couple spots, so maybe around 13th or 14th. But man, that is insane when you have an Alexis Leclerc get a whole shot and try to check out, as well as Payson Johnson, many times the fastest man on the track. So can Hubbard do anything about it? Man, this top 4 is stacked. Logan Leitzel
with a good start is up
place
here as well. Yeah. This is going to be really interesting to see if we see a similar brand of battling between Leclerc and Johnson, because obviously not teammates. I think that this is going to be a weird situation where it's kind of two, rock and a hard place, if you will, where Leclerc is a super fast kind of qualifying type dude, but Johnson's maybe even gnarlier than that, and they're going to hot lap each other into a battle here, but we'll see what happens. Johnson great through the whoops, already shows Leclerc a nose for the lead, doesn't quite get it just yet, goes for the alternate rhythm lane through here, loses a little bit of time, but so far so good. Leclerc and Johnson keeping it steady out front, with Eagland and Leitzel kind of bringing up the caboose in this little front battle. Where are the other two gentlemen that battled earlier on tonight? Here is Carter just inside of the top 10 by the looks of it, around the outside, Ryder down. Oh my goodness.
So lucky there, dodging 2 people.
Very lucky. Ethan Park's right behind him. If it's any consolation, he's bringing Hubbard with him. Hubbard's only 2 spots back now. 1 spot back as Adam Holm swings wide, allows the 78 machine to go by. So Hubbard up into the top 10 as well. He is now 10th. Carter is 8th. So while our leaders continue to fight it out front, those guys have made good headway, and it might not be too long before they're battling for a top 5 spot.
Yeah, man, Leclerc dropped a 1:01.1 already, which is would be 5th or 6th fastest in the qualifying time. So he's out there just trying to set hot laps. Johnson, we saw make a mistake in this upcoming rhythm section last lap, but he's amazing in the whoops. So without a Leclerc there, he should be able to pick up some time here. He does have his special little wheelie inline, and looks like he might be closing a little bit. So now he's got about 9 minutes plus a lap to just set his sights on Leclerc, and all he has to do is focus on getting back up there on that rear wheel, and doesn't look like it's going to take him much time with the speed that we're seeing out of Payson right now. But Leclerc, as far as right now, he's got about 3 or 4 seconds of him just chilling up there. He's got to try to find a way to answer those crazy fast lap times that Payson Johnson lays down.
Yeah, this little front 4 group is all kind of broken away from the rest of the pack, as Leitzel still holding tough with Eagland back there. P5 actually not too far back, as Payson kind of clanks the rhythm section right there, loses a little bit more time. I feel like Eagland might be going slightly faster than Johnson. Well, 101.5 for Johnson suggests a different story, as Eagland's down in the 102s, but not quite down there at that 101 level that Johnson's putting down. Leclerc out front, 101.1 is his fastest lap of the race, a 101.2 last time by, so he's consistently running good times, but Johnson might be trying to lay the hammer down and close this thing back down, as the 51 machine scrubs down through that rhythm section, scrubs again, and can see the 7 machine slowly coming back into his clutches as they work their way through this sand section. Lap traffic down, and Johnson hits him, and I think he disconnected just too late.
Oh my God! I was gonna say Payson was gonna run the fastest lap of the race right there for sure with the amount of time
look at this.
Gaining. But look at that, Braden Carter is gonna get just past him, and I think Hubbard might still be.
Yeah,
back
he's 2
there.
spots back. Johnson!
Oh my God!
Goes for the kill on Carter out of nowhere.
And Carter stays up. That's bad news for Johnson.
So Carter did stay on 2 wheels. Here is Hubbard now just in front of Carter.
What?
They are down in 8th and 9th respectively as Johnson gets going. He's trying to get away from these guys. I have no idea what Johnson and Carter have going as beef right now, but clearly there is something stewing in the pot because these guys have not been too cordial with each other this year. Got into it at the first round of the year. Carter, if you remember, stood Johnson up after the finish line jump on the second lap of the main event. Ironically, Johnson had taken out Ethan Parks the lap before doing the exact same thing. And then if you watch his playback of it, he said, "Come on, Carter, it's the first race of the year, but he had just done the same thing a lap before." So now Johnson takes out Carter 4 rounds later at A2 and sets a little bit of a precedent between the two of them where they're definitely not going to be friendly on the track this season.
I don't even have words for that. That was just so uncalled for. I mean, you're like in 4th or 5th place and just making that move like not even a third of the way through your race. I just don't really understand it, and I would be surprised if there's no protest there and maybe it's some sort of penalty. It just seems.
Carter stood up in the corner in the background. Sorry to cut you off, but Hubbard's going to make a pass right there. He was battling with Luke Sullivan and Matthias Janis, who are just going at it, but they cannot make the pass on either of them. So it looks like Johnson's able to sneak away a little bit here. Back to our leader out front to kind of reset things here as we just now hit the halfway mark. 6 minutes done, 6 minutes to go plus a lap. Alexis Leclerc is our race leader on that field ski and snowboard number 7, with Colby Eaglin settling behind him in second place. Eaglin was 3rd in the first main event and Leclerc was 4th. So points-wise, this is actually quite an interesting spread between those two gentlemen, and Johnson, who was 5th in the first one, now runs in 3rd. Here's Luke Sullivan 4th, Janis 5th, Hubbard 6th, and Carter 7th. So Hubbard and Carter really trying to go to work to get around Janis and Sullivan and make it as quick as possible to kind of retain the similar top 5 vibe that we had from the first main event. But right now, they just cannot quite make it work on either of those two riders ahead of them.
Yeah, it seems like everyone else has gotten like kind of moved up to the same pace. It's so much harder to move through the pack than it is just to start up front and kind of check yourself out away from them. So many of these guys are so fast and doing those big lines too. It's this track is long and there's a lot going on, but it's not super difficult. So I feel like so many of these guys are kind of figuring it out here, and they're just kind of chilling out and kind of setting their lap times down, and it's those little mistakes that you have to wait on, or that one big mistake. But man, look at Hubbard with that insane whip speed. And these guys might be looking for a pass on Janis by the end of this lap here.
Yep, trying to make something happen. Hubbard down the inside of Janis up to the Supercross triple, but not close enough yet. So now Carter's thinking of an opportunity on his teammate to make a pass as Hubbard goes in and out of the tough blocks through the mechanics area right there. And boy, oh boy, let's see what happens through here. And for those of you just having an absolute conniption fit in chat, yes, it is a video game, but come on, dude. You cannot be thinking about doing that 3 laps into a main event, just doing dive bombs like that. If that happened to myself or Awood and it was someone that we knew or we trusted to race against, yeah, you would bet your dollar that we would come flying back down the inside in the next turn and take him out, because that's just not cool. Doesn't matter if it's a video game and you think it's fair game because you can punt someone because it's not going to get you hurt. It's still a racing game, and if you're going to race someone dirty, you got to expect it back. So that is why we're breaking it down in that shape and manner. As finally, Carter's going to go down on the back wheel of Matthias Janis, but Hubbard had finally just broken through to get around those guys and make his way into what is a podium position now, right? No, 4th, excuse me. So 101.8 for him last time by. Payson Johnson at a 1.4, but has lost a position, like we said, to Colby Eaglin because of that crash. So he's still making up time, and he's a little bit ways back, 4 seconds up to Leclerc out front. So we'll see whether or not any of these gaps at the front of the field start to condense a little bit. It seems like it's a little bit spread out at this point with Leclerc having that 4-second advantage. He might be starting to put it on cruise control, and we see these patented rides out of Leclerc where he sprinted ahead, got a big enough gap, and then kind of put it in cruise control to cruise it home. Seems like he's maybe doing the exact same thing here as he continues to hold this similar advantage.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm not surprised, but I'm really impressed by Eaglin's ride here, holding this close to Leclerc. After, if you have Leclerc get a whole shot and just start to check out, it's really impressive to keep him within 4 seconds where they were just before they both kind of made some mistakes. So impressive to see, or interested to see kind of what happens here. But really kind of stoked for Hubbard too, who was back there and making some mistakes. But man, this is just a huge shakeup compared to what we saw in the first race, and it's going to be some tight overalls, I feel, coming into their 3rd race of the night here. But Leclerc with an absolutely perfect ride, basically, just nice and smooth out front. And Payson Johnson, man, he's got that speed. Like we said, he can throw down that heat race, or he can throw down that one lap, but he's a little bit of a ticking time bomb, you know, and that's kind of a couple of his mistakes have really hurt him here, and that's why he's only back in third place, one spot ahead of Hubbard, who had some huge problems so far in this race.
And just to quickly reiterate in chat, yes, he did pay him back, and Carter did take Payson down in round 1, so that's all fair. I was more saying that Payson had taken somebody else out for 4th place on the lap before he took Carter out, and then complained about Carter taking him out and said it was round 1, you should not take somebody out. So, I don't know. Calling a spade a little bit there, but Payson obviously riding aggressive and not caring about any of the championship drama that could be associated with this, because if you start making enemies out there, which, hey, look, he's number 51. If you start making some enemies out there, you're going to have a tougher time to try to claim the championship. And Johnson, in his first year, trying to really go for this 450 title, doesn't want to have any more enemies than he needs to. So we'll see if he can kind of batten down the hatches and go after some of these guys, get a little bit more points a little bit later on. And he's trying to close down Colby Eaglin for this second position as Leclerc continues to lead the race. 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes gone. 1 minute plus a lap left in this main event as Leclerc charges into the whoops out front, looking steady as always. Eaglin has been inching up onto him, but I don't know. We'll see if he can make it close down here in the last stretch of this, because he's only going to have 2 laps to go next time by. Leclerc did have some lap traffic that balked him a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hold him up much more than that, because we have pretty clear track for the next 2 straightaways after that. So Eaglin, he's putting the hammer down, but it might be a little too late for him to make something happen here down the stretch.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of these guys go through those mechanic bales there, and actually I feel like that's where a lot of the cuts from Carter came from that first race. Or also these guys are kind of getting kicked off on the inside of the sand. They're all over the place over there. So really interested to see if he can pull this one in tight, see if any of these guys have enough cuts to change anything, but got that down to 1.8 seconds, and Leclerc is trying to yo-yo it back out again, but Colby Eaglin with a great ride and throwing in some heater lap times actually here at the end. So really, really impressed by him. And yeah, another thing just on that whole takeout point is I would be looking forward to protesting someone for a random takeout in 5th in a race that doesn't really count, and hopefully something happens, or if I can, I am putting him in the cheap seats and doing Frontier justice the next time I see him, and then that would be fair and there would be no protest. But really just kind of weak to see something like that so early in the race, something that is not even an actual like real points paying race. It's just a little cheap. But
well, back to this action, yeah.
That,
I mean,
dude,
Eaglin has caught him 1 flat 0.7
Whoa.
this last time by. This is really close coming down the stretch.
Scared.
And the white flag is waving. Let's see if Leclerc can hold it off, or we can have another intense last lap battle between 2 different gentlemen than we saw in the first main event. Eaglin is going for it. He's got the optimal line right here, but does not go for the quad. I was surprised he didn't go for it, but maybe just didn't have it. Johnson is still lurking back there, so if these guys get together, it is going to get haywire, and it's going to get wild quickly. Leclerc scrubs the double down. Eaglin's been really good in the second half of the track, so let's see if he's able to close it down. The whoops as well was one of the areas that Eaglin was closing up as Johnson missed the double-double over the start straight. There is Eaglin blitzing through those whoops well, getting that corner clean, tripling on
the
lower.
drive through the rhythm section.
Look at
He's going to be on
this.
his outside.
To the outside, Leclerc jumps long. Eaglin squares back up and he slides out. Oh, so Johnson's going to go by and get into second place right there around his teammate Colby Eaglin. But Alexis Leclerc survives a late attack from Eaglin down the stretch. And the number 7 machine of Alexis Leclerc takes main event 2 tonight here in Anaheim. And he's got 5 points on his tab now as Johnson crosses the line in second. Johnson going to be sitting on 7 points. Colby Eaglin crosses the line in third. He's on 6 points. And Matthias Janis and Luke Sullivan are going to play a little spoiler here between Carter and Hubbard, as Janis is going to cross the line in fourth, just ahead of Sullivan in fifth. And then, wow, Matt Cromie got up into sixth. Nice job for Cromie on the 5:03 ride. And then Buttigny even beat Hubbard, so Carter fell apart in this one.
Spoilers. Oh, did he even make it to the
Well, yeah,
finish?
Hubbard crossed the line 8th and Carter crossed the line 9th. I almost wonder if Johnson taking Carter to the ground maybe mentally ruined Carter a little bit for the second half of that main event, as Lang rounds out our top 10 in this one. And we'll see what happens with cuts here in just a moment. But it was Lang, Carter, Hubbard, Buttigny, Cromie, Sullivan, Janis, Eaglin, Payson, Johnson, and Alexis Leclerc rounding through our top 10 results as Leclerc takes the win. And he's got people gathered all around him who are stoked on his performance. first time Alexis Leclerc takes the checkered flag in P1 in 2023.
Yeah, that's great. It's almost ended up just like the 250 race where there were so many spoilers in between. Everyone that finished up front, for the most part, was, way back. All those spoilers. We had Chromie, we had Butigny, we had all those guys between Hubbard and Braden who finished 1-2 last race. So let's see if anything changed up here in the top
Carter
10.
Carter got around Hubbard on cut, so Carter ends up in 8th, Hubbard ends up in 9th. So Hubbard now sitting on 10 points, and Carter is also sitting on 10 points. So they are both kind of down and out, I would say, of what I would consider battling for the overall win, based on the fact that we have the guys ahead of them on 5, 6, and 7 points. Is that correct? I believe Eagland is on 6, Leclerc is on 5 with 4 and 1, and Johnson with a third in this one, or a second, I should say, now sitting on 7 points. Yeah, so 3-3 for Eagland, 5-2 for Johnson, and a 4-1 for Leclerc. So it goes 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, I believe, right now for the points.
Yeah, so pretty decent gap there after that. Man, what a really eventful race 2 right there for these 450 riders. Really separated those things, changed up what we thought we were going to see. I thought every race for the rest of the night, but man, really, really switched it up on us. And just like that, we're going to move back into the 250 class and have another crazy, crazy point setup here as we kind of have to look and see where these guys are standing. Seth Shirley, though, after a 5-4 finish, he is going to be leading on the way into this last race with 9 points. That is just absolutely insane. After just really impressive to see. Next after that, you've got really close guys, though. So even though he's only got 9 points, it's almost like a complete reset because the points are so close between all of these guys. He's not the only one that can take this win tonight. But yeah, so really excited here as we're getting loaded into 250 race 3. Super excited to see what happens here and what we can see shaking up.
All right, to give you guys an understanding of where we're looking at for this 250 division coming into 250 main event number 3, Seth Shirley, your championship leader, is sitting on 9 points. Daniel Olson, the main event 1 winner, sitting on 10 points. And Cade Matherly sitting on 11 points. Bodie Parker is also on 11 points. And that is kind of down to where the fight for the overall win tonight is coming from. Jet Holyhead, amazingly, with a 10-6, is in 5th on 16 points. Daniel Irvine, Max Chwalik, and Frank Jackson all tied for 6th place on 17 points. And then Rogan McIntosh and Austin Schaefer tied for 9th on 19 points. So Vanderbeek, who finished 21st in the first one, first in the second one on 22 points, sits in 12th right now.
Yeah, so these guys are going to be in a lot of trouble if we see Cade Matherly get a good start like he has been. He's still very close there. I could see any of these top 4 guys, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for Shirley, Olson, Matherly, and Parker. He's going to need Holyhead is in there with 5th with 16 points. He's going to need a miracle. If he gets a first, he's going to really need everyone else or those other 4 guys to have a really bad race here. So this is kind of fun where we can finally see where these guys are at for the night and how close they can get to actually winning this thing or getting on the podium. But super excited for this one. This 250 class has been completely unpredictable. And who knows, maybe Braden Tharp can get a whole shot and lead for most of this race. You never really know what's going to happen. All of these guys seem like they have a chance to run up front.
We'll see who comes out on top, but Seth Shirley leads them going into this one, looking for his 3rd main event win of 2023. And we've only raced 4 rounds, so Shirley is starting to put himself into a position where he could maybe think about putting this thing out of reach as we head to the East Coast next week. Round 1 of the East Series starts at Houston next week, but this is the final time to make a shot across the bow in this 250 class, 250 main event number 3, lining up another 10-minute plus 1 lap affair. And once we're all done with that, we will have an overall winner to crown here on the night.
I feel like this is a really early jump to the East Coast. Don't we normally go at least 6 rounds before we get over there? So.
We do, yeah. So we'll see what happens once we go east next week. But right now it's 250 West action. Main 3 is underway in Anaheim. Who's going to get the start? Shirley up the inside's got a pretty good jump, is flipping to the first turn.
Chwalik is cartwheeling
down. Seth Shirley up the inside is going to rip the RaceFactoryGaming.com Whole Shot Award. Daniel Olson is up there with them, as to is Maxime Vanderbeek. Bodie Parker also with a good start. So Cade Matherly, where is Matherly? Trying to see if I say a Yamaha up here. I don't think that's him on the inside. I believe that is the 45 machine of McIntosh with a good start as well. So Matherly coming through
back.
the other rhythm lane. It looks like he's a little bit ways down. So we're looking at possibly Shirley versus Olson right now for this overall win. Only 1 point between them. And also you got to factor in that Bodie Parker has a good start as well. He's only 1 point back of Olson in this overall standings.
Yeah, those guys are all within 1 point there at the top three. So it really comes down to who finishes right out front. You could beat the guy by 1 point, and depending on if you've got a win, or I think it's how many wins, or whoever had the best last moto. So this one totally matters here. We can definitely see this race being shaken up here. But Seth Shirley off to a great start, being chased by Olson here. And man, Shirley's just trying to get out front and keep that red plate and show these guys, nah, dude, I'm the best. Before we go back East Coast, I'm going to once again show you guys that I can come back from some adversity, win, and take this thing home, because I'm trying to go all the way.
Well, Seth Shirley last week had a lot of adversity to deal with. Had to go through the LCQ in San Diego. Somehow pulled a rabbit out of his hat and still won the main event. So Shirley, no stranger to the adversity this early on in the season. But Daniel Olson coming out of nowhere tonight and trying to become a first-time winner here in MotoOption Supercross really would stir the cauldron of the championship picture here if he can steal some points away from our championship favorites, which is why Shirley is still racing so hard at the front of this one to try to hold on. But Daniel Olson starting to give him everything he can handle as the 427 machine closes up from behind, and we have a little battle for the lead brewing here in Anaheim to decide the overall winner tonight.
Yeah, something we noticed from Olson in the first race.
Oh,
as
there's a
actually
mistake.
Shirley stacks it, Olson's going to go to the lead, and Shirley has a lot more speed, I think, or Olson has a lot more speed than Shirley, I think. As we saw in that first race, we thought he could be a surprise winner, but not able to kind of put it together in the second one. But man, he's out front trying to just get away now. Shirley up the inside, but Olson is trying to just take control of this race early and get away from the championship leader.
Well, Daniel Olson and Seth Shirley are, at the moment at least, are currently tied on points, with both of them having 12 points each. But I believe because Olson is going to have 2 wins to Shirley's none, that would obviously tip the scale in the favor of Olson. I actually think that the tiebreaker is final main event results. So Olson beating Shirley here as well also tips the scales in his favor. Right now he is sitting out front in the catbird seat, as some people would say, in the lead of this race, and trying to pull away as Seth Shirley still hounds it from behind. Oh, a little mistake from Olson. He's going to case his quad, and Shirley back to the inside retakes the lead.
Yeah, really good on Olson to not throw that away. A little bit of doolies there, but Olson able to kind of reel it back in and just settle back in behind Seth Shirley. And he's just got to put down some fast laps again and try to wait for a mistake. Shirley hasn't been the most consistent when he's actually being pushed. So we're going to have to see how he handles this pressure here. But man, these two so close together so early in this race. Olson going to poke his wheel up the inside a little bit and just kind of remind him that he is there. And he does want to contend for this race win. You see the quad there. Let's see if this double changes anything. He's not going to dive up the inside. But you got to be a little worried if you're Shirley there.
We also have Maxime Vanderbeek sitting back here. And remember, Vanderbeek won the second main event. So he is sitting on 25 points right now as they run, which somehow might still put him in the top 5 depending on where everything shakes out. We got Jet Holyhead in 12th, so a tough night for the Australian rider. Really not liking these triple crowns here, but Vanderbeek kind of keeping these guys honest ahead of him. Shirley is not getting away with the race lead. Daniel Olson seems to have the pace, and this little 3-rider train at the front has broken away as we watch what is potentially the battle for the overall win, but also the battle for the win in this main event is still up for grabs. And I think Maxime Vanderbeek is going to be a player in this thing before we say the checkered flag is waving and this thing is all said and done.
Yeah, Vanderbeek's really the only one close enough right now that can be a spoiler without some big crashes. But these guys, they have had more time on the track, so all those mistakes we saw in the first 2 main events, they're going to be eliminated because these guys have had so much more time to just kind of figure it out, get comfortable, see how the track breaks down every lap with a road. And these guys are just going to be throwing down heaters. And it's going to be waiting for that one little mistake, like we saw Olson barely case that, go a little long, and then case that quad in that rhythm section. He's going to be praying for Shirley to do the same thing, either that one big mistake or you need to capitalize on the little small mistakes. So these guys are going to be chasing each other down. We're 5 minutes into this main event, and Olson not able to actually pick up any time. Shirley is matching the speed of Olson behind him. So really impressed by these guys. Shirley able to kind of pick it up when it all matters.
Yeah, Shirley has really figured out these late main events, coming up strong last week in San Diego down the stretch, kind of stole that one away towards the end. And now, after finishing 5th and 4th respectively in the 2 main events, looks like he is in a position where he can win this final one and win the 4th round of MotoOption Supercross in the 250 West Division. But Daniel Olson still would love to say something about it. This trio at the front still just inching away from everybody else. But the eyes are on Daniel Olson versus Seth Shirley, because still, right now at least, it's just 2 points between them. But as soon as Olson passes Shirley, if he can get around him, it goes back to a dead tie in which we believe Olson would have the tiebreaker. And so it's all to play for the overall victory here with 4 minutes left, plus a single lap here in Anaheim to win the Triple Crown in the 250 West Division.
These guys, they got this track so figured out right now. Really going to be interesting to see what happens if they make any mistakes. We've seen some mistakes in the sand because of this road track breaking down a little bit, but these guys just seem to have it figured out, and they're not really making any mistakes. We only saw that one small mistake from Olson, but other than that, it was both these guys having a great start, and they're just doing the same thing, just kind of training along, keeping each other in check. So Olson's going to really need to get on the gas here soon. He's got a little bit more time. If you clip that rhythm, man, able to still pull it together, get that quad. But running his fastest lap, last lap, so it actually shows you that Shirley has picked it up. But, man, look at these guys. They're just so close.
Yeah, very close indeed. And it feels like Olson is just inching closer here and there, finding opportunities to close that gap down. 102.1 versus a 102.2 between the two of them last time by. Literally a tenth of a second separating them. But now Shirley looks like he's wicked it up a little bit. He's pulled out a couple more tenths in just these few sections alone. And now Olson has to respond and try to keep tabs on the 44 machine, not let him get away. It's now Rogan McIntosh back in 3rd, by the way, after we lost Vanderbeek in a crash. Bodie Parker has moved up to 4th. Schaefer is now 5th. Frank Jackson is in 6th. Vanderbeek has slipped all the way to 7th as Cade Matherly runs in 8th. Ryan Pinkerton back here is in 9th. And Daniel Irvine rounding out the top 10. You have to go back to 13th spot to find Jet Holyhead, the man second coming into tonight in the championship. And we're going to see a huge championship point swing as it runs. Jet Holyhead currently looks like he is listed as P9 overall as they run. So a tough night for the Australian. And
as Holyhead goes
down after the Supercross triple.
It was so weird. He landed a little bit sideways and low-sided, just never brought his whip back. So he's going to lose a spot right there. But yeah, Holyhead, such a surprise. I mean, Shirley probably shouldn't even care if he wins this race. I mean, he's got the lead right now, but he's going to have a huge points gap no matter what. The next person in line is going to be Bodie Parker getting 3rd right now. So many points are going to be gained by Seth Shirley this round, whether he gets 1st or 2nd. So I wouldn't be really worried for him. He's just going to try to get a win as we see Holyhead.
What the heck? How does he land that?
Man, he's just got speed, but he just can't seem to
stay off the ground, really.
He
just keeps crashing and finding ways to fall back down the order a little ways. Back to our race leader, though, Seth Shirley. And you can see he's gone to the alternate option over there, over the table, triple through here, which I think is probably just down to the fact that he does not want to get involved in any of the ruts and the notches that are done on top of that tabletop at the moment. We are down into what is about to be the final minute plus a lap of racing as Shirley continues to navigate through lap traffic. Daniel Olson is sitting back there about 2.5 to 3 seconds back of him as lappers are trying to just latch onto the back of Shirley. Another lapper going down behind him. But we're going to have 2 laps to go by the looks of it next time by before Shirley might be bringing home his 3rd win of the year. Olson still sitting back there hoping to get close. Nobody is close to our 2 leaders, though. 16 seconds behind our leader is Rogan McIntosh in 3rd place. So it is really spread out between everybody, still trying to mix it up in these final few positions, battling it out for the podium. Looks like at the moment it is Bodie Parker who is sitting on the box with 15 points as he's just ahead of Maxime Vanderbeek coming through the sand right here. So Bodie Parker might be in line to try to pick up a first career podium here in MotoOption Supercross if he can hold on and stay in this position. He's got 3 points to give up even, so he could still allow Vanderbeek to go by and still be on the box if he so chooses. Inside move for Vanderbeek, not close enough though. Great little battle here in a battle for 4th place on the track.
Yeah, Bodie Parker is really impressed by him. these last couple races. He has just pulled it together. I mean, same with Vanderbeek behind him. They just kind of figured it out. That first one was just a little bit rough for them, but really proud of Bodie Parker. He actually goes outside there, slides out. I wonder if that's the first time he's gone out there in a while and just wasn't used to it. But as we said, he gives up that position. Look at that.
Oh, that's Olsen. That's Daniel Olsen.
The lapper.
High centered in the berm right there. He may have had a fall off crash, but he's going to remount in 5th place. And then going down at the end of the whoops right there is Parker, I think. Is that Parker? Or is that a lapped rider?
I think that's a lapper.
Yeah, okay, so Parker's still up here.
They're all black, white, and pink. It's hard to tell.
Everyone runs the same skin color. It's so tough to see. But that actually puts McIntosh into 2nd. Parker 3rd. Vanderbeek 4th. Olsen now in 5th. And that definitely blows it wide open for Seth Shirley out front. Schaefer, Frank Jackson still back here. Cade Matherly spread out the field just a little bit more, as Shirley's not even going to get this double-double on the last lap of the race. But it is okay because he's got pretty sizable margin out front. And even if he didn't have that big advantage, he would still be in a good enough position to where he could clinch this overall tonight by finishing in 2nd. Crushing through the rhythm section, but that's okay. He still got that advantage. As here's McIntosh
looked like
coming
Phil
the other way.
Dribble.
Phil, just do the jumps, Phil. Just do the jumps. All right, here it is. 2 corners to go. Seth Shirley through the sand section one final time. Houdini strikes again. A 5-4 in the first 2 main events somehow equals win because Seth Shirley takes the win in main event 3 and the overall win tonight in Anaheim for his 3rd win of 2023 as he extends his championship lead yet again.
Yeah, Rogan McIntosh has just been toughing it out back there. Whoa, guy, come on, pull it back together. So McIntosh, man, just a nice solid 2nd this race. He just kind of stayed there and waited for everyone else to kind of go away. So he's going to finish, I think, with like 20 or 21 points. Vanderbeek will have
he finishes 3rd in this one, so he'll be 25 total points for him. 25. Frank Jackson ends up in 4th. Daniel Olsen crosses the line in P5. Bodie Parker 6th. Austin Schaefer 7th. Daniel Irvine in 8th. Cade Matherly in 9th. Hayden Stevenson rounding out the top 10. And Jet Holyhead is just going to miss finishing out in the top 10 in this one. And as our live update board has it, well, he's actually going to get 10th at the flag. Oh, no, excuse me. There was another rider down just in front of him. All these black and white bikes just killing me tonight. J.R. Reyes, Ryan Pinkerton, Sammy Weigman, Jack Gatlin, Ryan Anderson, Max Chwalik, Aaron Rockefeller, Braden Tharp, Dalton Plessinger, Tanner Thorson, all coming through as well as we're waiting for those cuts to come in. And they are in. Let's see if anything changed up. Looks like it was all good to go. So Seth Shirley picks up his 3rd win of the year right here in Anaheim. And looks like we have finally got some updated results. A huge shout out to SYS Racing team rider Zach Dupuis for filling this out live for us so we can keep tabs on everything. It is Shirley winning tonight and taking home the 26 points. Daniel Olsen will finish 2nd on the night with 15 points overall, and obviously gets the 23 points for finishing 2nd, and with 21 points for finishing 3rd. Bodie Parker goes 8-3. And whatever he got in that last one, to get 17 total points. So Cade Matherly 4th. Rogan McIntosh looks like he ends up 5th. Frank Jackson 6th. Maxime Vanderbeek 7th. Daniel Irvine 8th. Jet Holyhead gets shuffled back to 10th as Austin Schaefer is going to finish up in P9. So rough night championship-wise because Shirley just sees a huge gap now opening up between himself and Jet Holyhead and everybody else behind that.
Yeah, man, just really, really impressive ride. Shirley just seems like he's an easy favorite for this championship. Only 4 rounds in, but doesn't really seem like anyone can touch him. But we are moving to the East Coast, so it's going to be interesting to see if any of these guys can kind of pick it up. But no matter what adversity that Seth Shirley faces, he seems to always be able to kind of bring it around and end up at least on the box, if not winning. He's won 3 of our 4 so far this year and is looking really strong. So curious to see what the points gaps are going to be. We'll have to see that next time we see these riders on the track, actually, which will probably be a long time. But now we are moving into the 450 class, and it got shaken up as well, just like the first and second races did for the 450 class here tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see who can pull it together and have the best 2 of 3 at least. You know, so many people had great starts, but man, Jacob Hubbard and Braden Carter seem to be pretty out of it. So going to be interesting to see if Leclerc or Eaglin can kind of pull this off. Payson Johnson right behind them as well. So going to be really tricky for these 450 guys, and really interesting to see what happens. Those top 3 also separated by 1 point, just like the 250 class was.
All right, loaded back in. Final main event set to go here in just a few moments as we get ready to drop the gate on the final race of the night here in Anaheim. A quick reminder of the point standings coming in. Alexis Leclerc enters on 5, Colby Eagland on 6, Payson Johnson on 7, Braden Carter on 10, and Jacob Hubbard also on 10. You got Luke Sullivan on 13, Matthias Janis on 14, Braden Castellaneta, on 17, Enzo Butigny on 23, as is Tyler Lang and Jeremy Smith. So a good battle trying to get inside of the top 10 for some of those guys. It really comes down, I think, to Leclerc, Eagland, and Johnson trying to win the overall score here tonight. Leclerc comes up with the advantage, but it really is who beats whom in this last race, I feel like, is going home as your big winner. Carter's trying to claw some more points back. Here is Leclerc, who won the second main event, the first time he took the checkered flag as a winner in 2023. But will he take the final one here tonight and win the whole damn thing? Let's find out as we get ready to drop the gate on the final race of the night. Get that timer up just a little bit late, so apologies for that. Let's see who's going to get the all-important hole shot. Who's going to leave here as the winner? Let's drop the gate. 450 main 3 in Anaheim. More contact, and it's going to be Carter who gets shuffled and goes down into the first corner this time, though. Jacob Hubbard comes out with the hole shot. 2 for 3 tonight. Jacob Hubbard rips the RaceFactoryGaming.com hole shot award. Luke Sullivan in second place early on. Leclerc alongside Jeremy Smith in a battle for third, so Leclerc's in a great position. Oh, he almost gets landed on by JS4, though, so he has to jump off to the inside of the track almost. Payson Johnson's up front. Colby Eagland's up there. Carter down in the first turn has got a huge hill to climb to try to get up to these guys, because everybody that needs to be up front pretty much is at this stage of it, with Leclerc, Jeremy Smith, Payson Johnson all close together, but they're all chasing Jacob Hubbard, who ripped the whole shot when he needed it the most.
Yeah, Jacob Hubbard had a great start here, able to pull back after that pretty bad second race where he got into a lot of trouble. So he's trying to remount and finish this thing off with a win. He got himself up front early, but he does have some competition right behind him. So really going to be interesting. I don't know if he's going to be in the battle for the win with how spread out the points are, but best he can do is go out there, put down a 1 on the scoreboard, and get himself as a few points as possible for this Olympic scoring. He's got a pretty sizable gap here, but he does have trouble coming up right behind him. You see that huge pack of riders, but he's looking smooth so far and looking comfortable on this fresh track. So he's just got to put his laps together and kind of get some time out there.
So Hubbard out front trying to lead this race away from Luke Sullivan. There is Alexis Leclerc running in third, Payson Johnson in fourth. Jeremy Smith with a good start. This one is in fifth, and he's got Colby Eagland breathing down his neck behind him. Dakota French is going to miss this double and get passed up by Caleb Hall, so Hall goes by. There's French, Castellaneta, and hey, Carter got through relatively clean. He's not actually that far behind our leaders now in P10, and he still has 10 minutes to make up some time, so we'll see if being this close this early on after that first turn crash can actually pay benefactors to Carter and be close enough if these guys start making some mistakes. It's not the worst position to be in to try to fight through the field like this, because Carter can see everything that's happening in front of him, and maybe those guys getting into it up front makes it a little bit better for Carter to go through, as he's going to go down the inside of Dakota French, make a block pass to move up into 8th, and smooth sailing from here if he can make a few more passes and get up on some of these guys that he's battling for in the championship.
Yeah, Payson Johnson, though, he's in a great position right here. He's got to just get himself up. He is second in points so far with 6 right behind.
Oh, Johnson down. Cases the triple in. He showed a wheel to Leclerc in this U-turn that Carter just came out of, tripling into the corner. So Johnson shorts the triple and goes down, remounts behind Carter, who has now moved up to 7th. And there's one of a few guys that Carter would need to get around. But we also got to see whether or not that if Johnson catches Carter again, if the beef is still continuing. Hubbard leads. It is now Leclerc up into second as he's gotten around Luke Sullivan. Leclerc is in a position at the moment where he is going to win this overall almost handily because of how much other troubles other people are getting into right now. So Leclerc sitting in a great spot in second to win the overall here tonight. We'll see if he can stay there as Luke Sullivan crosses in third. Jeremy Smith is in fourth, and he's got Colby Eagland on the 24 right behind him as the battle in the top 5 continues. And we'll see whether or not Carter and Johnson get up into the mix here soon as well.
Yeah, Leclerc's in such a great position, but the rest of these guys, they're so flip-flop. It's going to be really confusing to calculate what the rest of the top 5 is going to be like, or especially the guys trying to make the podium. But Jeremy Smith able to get himself to a great start here and trying to hold off these guys and score as many points as possible as he can here. This 450 class, a little more like the 250 class than I thought it was going to be, with the guys being up and down. But man, this third race, everyone that needs to be here kind of seems to be pretty close. So really interesting, as Smith is actually going to lose a little bit of time through that rhythm section, but not able to make the move yet, as
that's Eaglin sliding
goes
out
down right behind him. So Eaglin now got a little bit of time to make up, but Carter trying to go up and get that spot. He's just looking at everyone making mistakes, thinking I can get up there and get as many points as possible in this race, in this main event, and try to get myself up onto a podium position. So he's going to continue to work up. As we move up to the front of the pack, we see Leclerc still working on Hubbard.
Yeah, he's closed in a little bit more. I think Leclerc ran the fastest lap of the race last time by at a 1:01.3 for the fast Frenchman out of Picardy on the number 7 Phil Ski and Snowboard Yamaha. He's closing up on his newfound teammate. Leclerc's only been a part of this quote-unquote program for a couple weeks. He still runs all those Bitcoin things or whatever they are in his cryptocurrency. That's what it's called, in his name. But we believe that he's actually a little bit more tied to the Phil's team this year than he has to some of the other programs in the past. So this is kind of a pseudo teammate that he's catching up to with Carter, or with Hubbard out front, I should say. Oh, and Hubbard's down in the sand. Hubbard goes tumbling head over heels through the sand section and puts Leclerc out front. Didn't quite see what happened right there, but I'd have to imagine it was a little bit of a cross rut.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that those guys are having so much trouble with that sand. It looks like a basic sand section at first glance, but the way they're landing off that triple, and these guys are carrying so much speed, if they get one little kicker wrong, they're just going, getting high-sided pretty bad there. So we're back on Hubbard right now, and Hubbard is just, man, he's shown so much speed. He really wants to get up there and try to battle, but I don't know if anyone is going to catch Leclerc at this point with how great he's been. I haven't really seen a big crash out of Leclerc yet tonight. So Hubbard just trying to work his way up and catch this pack. He's got a big group ahead of him. He's moving up on Colby Eaglin and Jeremy Smith right there, Braden Carter, and then moving up Luke Sullivan, and then all the way up to Leclerc. So Leclerc is in the catbird seat, and he definitely has control over this one. But man, we're looking to see if Eaglin can kind of get up there. He is the closest in points besides Alexis Leclerc tonight. But man, this is a little bit more spread out than any of the races we've seen tonight so far.
Yeah, that first 450 main event kind of spoiled us with how absolutely gnarly it was. But this is the best, I feel like, version that we've seen of Leclerc in 2023 so far. He's been consistent. He's been getting good points, but I don't feel like he's been giving us that necessarily race-winning type of performance week in and week out just yet. I feel like this is maybe the worst case scenario for everybody else, is to give him that taste of the win and give him a position to start clawing points back on Carter. As they run right now, Carter just moved into the top 3 overall, so he's going to lose 5 points to Leclerc tonight. It's going to be down to just a 3-point advantage in the championship. But you and I both know, and I think everybody in MX Simulator history knows, do not give Leclerc any edge, because he will take it and absolutely start running with it.
Yeah, Leclerc can be unbeatable at times. So if I was Carter, seeing Leclerc have a great ride as he has tonight, I'm really hoping that doesn't continue next week, as he does a sweet little wheelie across the start straight there. But man, Leclerc just kind of going wherever his bike takes him. Doesn't really seem to have one line picked out, just kind of flowing with the track and kind of picking up whatever comes to him. Just really interesting to see, and it's really fun to see him out here kind of riding at his best. But man, it's scary for the rest of the guys who are in the championship battle with him. But he is pulling out a huge lead right here. Second place pretty far back, and then a pretty decent gap to third place as well. So going to be really interesting to see if he can hold
Carter
on.
down out of second.
Down.
Eaglin's going to go by. I was just about to say that Leclerc doesn't have to win this main event because of how much of an advantage he has on everybody else. But now Eaglin getting back through, can't get too comfortable with that, because Eaglin was close in the points coming into this final race. So now Carter slips back to third. Eaglin moves up into second in this main event, which I believe takes Eaglin down to 10 points. If he's able to catch and pass Leclerc, that obviously move him down to 9, and Leclerc back to 7 versus the 6 that Leclerc is sitting on with a 4-1-1 result. But Carter slips back to third in the race, as he remains in third overall in the standings for the evening. Luke Sullivan is still right up here in the mix. Castellaneta, Jeremy Smith, Jacob Hubbard all having good rides. Enzo Buttigny Dakota French, Payson Johnson, I think just went down in the background off the side of the track. He's going to remount there alongside the 27 of Pablo Vial, I believe. Another rider down going through the sand, but Johnson's night is coming a little bit unraveled here in Main 3 after such a good start to the evening with a couple of solid results. Currently listed in the running order is P6 on the evening as he runs P9 in the race. So 6th place points potentially on the table for Payson Johnson. Not what he wanted to see when his hope was to claw those points back on Carter and Leclerc ahead of him in this championship.
Yeah, definitely not where Payson wants to be after having especially such a good Moto2. And look at that, he stacks that, but he's able to hold on, just missing that quad. He's just kind of thrown off balance right now. Ran a 104.9, not used to seeing Payson run 4 seconds off of his best lap at all without going down. So he must not have gone down fully, but had definitely a big mistake that cost him some time. But look at that speed wheeling into the whoops. Oh my gosh, he's just insane. But with that speed comes this inconsistency, and that's why we see him back here in 9th and really hurting himself when these triple counts are all about consistency. So you really can only have one bad race, if that. So Payson really hurting his chances. He is probably going to be off the podium here tonight unless he can put on some crazy charge here and come up through the pack. But let's move forward a little bit here. As we see, actually, I think our leader might have been down.
Is our leader
yes, he
down?
Was.
Well,
in that triple-double, he was down. I saw his green dot stop moving. That's going to let Eagland.
Yeah, Eagland is close, and Carter's right there as well. You're absolutely right. It did tighten up quite a bit here, so this could flip it around a little bit because Eagland is actually, sitting on 8 points going into this one with a 3.32. So if he catches Leclerc and passes him, that obviously puts Leclerc back to 7 points on a 4.12 versus a 3.31 out of Eagland. But I think Eagland gets the nod for winning the final main event. Carter wants to spoil the whole party, though. Get up there and try to win this thing as well, as he's putting the pressure on the 24 machine for 2nd place. So it's very close right now in what could be a battle for the overall if Eagland can get to Leclerc. You got lap traffic also in the mix. 46 of Alec Horn looks to be the man that they are going to try to work through here soon. But Carter on the 1, putting every pressure that he can put on Eagland to try to make this pass and get up into 2nd place.
Yeah, Carter definitely looking to spoil. Even if he finishes 1st place in this main event, he cannot get himself, unless these guys have some huge crashes, he cannot move any further than 3rd. So definitely not going to be able to get a win. So he would just be spoiling as he scrubs that too hard and is actually going to miss that jump. Goes around that right there.
That was kind of smart. I was wondering how he's going to do that. I mean, it's cheating a little bit.
I don't even know
but
if you get cuts because it averages your best time through the sector when you go and you're missing some timing gates. So curious as to if any of these guys would get cuts if they kind of just cruise around that instead of launching to the moon. But Braden Carter still holding here in 3rd right now. But
trying to close up on Eagland, and in turn, Eagland is keeping Leclerc pretty honest. I think lap time wise, it's been rather similar, 101.8 and a 101.7. So Eagland did knock a 10th off that time by. And we're getting down into the nitty gritty. We have just a few. Oh, Leclerc I think is down.
Did he go over that rut?
Oh, and Carter's down out of 3rd. So Leclerc picks it back up. He is in 2nd, still behind Eagland, but Eagland has gone to the front. And this is the battle for the overall win. Leclerc trying to show him a nose. It's tied on 7 points apiece between the two of them. And we believe the better 3rd main event score gets the tiebreaker, which right now would be a win for Colby Eagland. So Leclerc has got to get this back.
Yeah, Colby Eagland, super impressive tonight. Hasn't really came out and won any races, blown us away with any speed, but until now, he is just ripping this main event and just kind of trying to finish this thing off and just be the most consistent guy out there. But man, you just got to be in that position. So he put himself in a great spot. Leclerc has made a couple mistakes, and he has now capitalized on that. So we are now actually 12 and a half minutes in.
Yeah,
so
the
this
white
is going
flag
to be
is
white
waving
flag right now, and Colby Eagland has found the perfect time to get to get into 1st position, and Leclerc just throws it away at the completely wrong time. So Colby Eagland with a sizable
and
gap
Leclerc
here
made another
too.
mistake too, I think, on that Dragon's back. I don't know what's eating him up in that corner, but it seems to be the same issue back-to-back laps in a row. This is completely throwing it away for Leclerc, who is in a position to almost rather easily win this overall. Then he crashed, fell back into the clutches of these guys, slid out with 2 to go, and Colby Eagland has taken the lead and a position atop the overall standings, or so we believe, with a 7-7 tie. I think that this is going to be the tiebreaker in Eagland's favor. triple on off quad, gets it clean, just has to get through these next 2 sections clean as well. And we're going to have yet a different winner this year, the third different winner, going with Carter at the opener and at round 3, Johnson at round 2, and Colby Eaglin comes from behind. He's going to pull one out of his hat just like Seth Shirley. How about this one? Colby Eaglin wins main event 3 in Anaheim and wins the overall on the night as well.
Wow, you see Leclerc trying to get himself as close as possible. Braden Carter, your red plate holder, back there in 3rd. Luke Sullivan coming across 4th. And Payson Johnson in 5th. These guys were actually pretty close. But man, look at these guys. They're so close, so fast. Jeremy Smith bringing it back together. Castellaneta, Buttigny, Hubbard. Look at these guys. Matthias Janis fighting down.
Hubbard with the quad flip. Dakota French crosses the line. He had a good run there in 11th. Ethan Parks gets 12th. Caleb Hall, Pablo Vial, Logan Leitzel went backwards. Matt Cromie, Ethan Gers, Tyler Lang, Alec Horn, Caden Speck. That is everybody who started and finished this final main event. As we wait for those penalties to come in and officially declare this, it's not out of the question. 1.1, it was fairly close between Eagland and Leclerc at the flag. But at the moment, we have got Eagland and Leclerc tied on 7 points, and it stays that way. Eagland takes the win in main event 3, and we believe that is also the overall win tonight here in Anaheim. Wow, what a final few laps that was, when it seemed like Leclerc just about had this thing in the bag. Colby Eaglin sneaks up and picks up his first win of 2023. What a wild way to finish this thing off.
What a great ride by Colby Eaglin, pulling that together there. And actually, I think that says penalized 4.2 seconds for a 3rd place Braden Carter, but he doesn't lose any spots.
Wow.
But, could have been from that double cut that I said we'll get him nothing, or 4 seconds, you must have been getting whiskey all over the place. So Braden Carter able to hold on to that 3rd place position, but man, that was just insane racing here tonight, and I really hope we're positive about that tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's how it goes. At least on our screen, we still have them at a dead heat 7-7. Payson Johnson able to get back into 5th place there at the end, does actually retain the podium position. He will get 3rd tonight, so he will get a couple extra points over Braden Carter, who ends up 4th. So 3-3-1 for Eaglin gets it done. A 4-1-2 for Leclerc. Looks like he will end up in 2nd. Johnson at a 5-2-5 gets 3rd. Carter on a 2-8-3 gets 4th. And Luke Sullivan rounds out the top 5 on an 8-5-4. So Hubbard, after winning the first main event in dramatic fashion, goes 9-9 after that to end up 6th overall. Just not his night after that, but boy, oh boy, he provided us some fireworks in that first main event, and we will take that every single day of the week. What a night of racing. Triple Crown action at Anaheim, done and dusted. Braden Carter, with that result, will also retain the red plate, but it's coming down a little bit as Leclerc and Johnson both outscore him tonight when all is said and done. I don't know what else to say about tonight other than, wow, what a night.
Yeah, I mean, Braden Carter showed some cracks in his armor, not able to kind of pull it together like we've seen him so far. 250 racing was great, but Seth Shirley able to pull it together and kind of win that handedly at the end of the night. But man, it was so back and forth all night, and then we ended up having some great racing. So I'm really excited, and I'm looking forward to next week. 250 class, 250 East debuting, 450 class is heating up. So I really thought we would see some separation this week, but it looks like it's actually going to tighten up in the 450 class.
Tightening up indeed, and as you mentioned as well, 250 East on the docket next week in Houston. You guys will not want to miss that. Same time, same place, live here on Start Your Systems, Init Esports, and ESTV, 6:15 p.m. Pacific, 9:15 p.m. Eastern from Houston next Wednesday night. Of course, want to give one more final shout out to MotoOption Clothing, the title sponsor of the series, as well as Phil Ski and Snowboard, Underground RC, and Race Tech Suspension, Race Director Gaming Track Crew, and Init Esports for all the work they do, as well as Holtzy, Evan Holt, with a tremendous job every single week on the opening ceremonies. We really appreciate all the help that he provides, and a huge thank you as well to SYS Racing team rider Zach Dupuis for all the help that he had in calculating the overalls tonight so that we know who ended up on the podium and who won the overall, because these Triple Crowns can get a little wild sometimes. So thank you guys as well. Everybody that tuned in tonight, we had a great amount of live viewers tonight. You guys really crushed it again this week. Triple Crown action from Anaheim never disappoints. And yeah, round 5 coming up next week in Houston. Can't wait. Any final thoughts, Andrew Wood?
No, I'm just excited for next week. Great racing, and I was really, Triple Crowns never disappoint. So really excited for next week, and excited to see this championship keep boiling down.
All right, well, that is going to be it for us tonight here. Andrew Wood and Kellen Brower in the booth, as well as all of us behind the scenes here at Start Your Systems. Thank you guys for watching round 4 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week in Houston. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.